off of him too. It takes pressure
100%.
off of everybody else. That was the whole thing with this team. Fro and Kyle Isbell carrying the offense. It was always going to be, if this team was going to have a good year, it was going to be about Badua Jr. replicating to some extent what he did a year ago as an MVP candidate, runner-up. Salvador Perez being the captain. Vinny Pasquantino driving in 100-plus runs. It was going to be Jonathan India getting on base. None of that has changed. That is still the formula for this team. And then you hope if they get going, then Cags at some point does, and all of a sudden, then you're rolling. That's the dream scenario. It's one game. I'm not saying everything is fixed, but last night was just a welcome sign. We hadn't seen that in a long time, man.
Yeah, it's not fixed, but didn't you feel like that was their best performance of the year? I mean, just situation.
It was the easiest. It seemed like the easiest, relaxing game to watch in months.
Yeah, you weren't sweating it out at the end and everything. You get on the board, get those quick 3 runs really quickly, and that felt good. I mean, yeah, doesn't mean it's going to happen tonight. Doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow, whatever. But for one night, maybe it did sink into them. They get the urgency. Maybe this can, get Bobby Witt Jr. going, turn Salvador Perez, get him going. The one down thing was Cags. Like, had Cags gotten a hit or two or an extra base hit or something like that.
You can tell he's clearly frustrated.
That would have really, really made it.
Yeah, you can tell he's very frustrated right now. Got to get going at some point in time. But I truly think if your captain and your MVP candidate and Bobby Witt Jr. from a year ago, if they get going, to me, that just takes some of the pressure off of Jack Caglione and the expectation on what you're needing from him, and hopefully he doesn't feel that burden as much as well. So Royals get it done last night. We'll talk more about them throughout the show today. Chris Bubich gets the nod tonight, so you feel like that gives you always a chance to win. But we'll see what they can do against the Rangers as the Royals try to guarantee a series win.
But he's pitching like an ace.
Mm-hmm. We'll see if the Royals can guarantee a series win by getting Game 2. We'll talk to Vern about it as well later on in the show. Here in about 20 minutes, we've got a Caitlin Clark card update. We get texts, I'm not even kidding, once a day about what's going on the card. If you guys have been following the show for a while, back in April, had the Caitlin Clark 101 card, was sending it to auction. PSA, it's taken a lot longer than I even thought it was going to take. I got a little update on that. Plus, we'll talk about Caitlin Clark last night, the WNBA, and the fighting that was taking place, and what I just think is, honestly, dumb when it comes to other players in the league at this point.
Did you watch it, Bink? Did you watch the WNBA last night?
Yeah, no, but I saw the highlights. All
right.
Stanley Cup was on last night.
That is weird.
The Royals were on last night.
So we'll talk about Caitlin Clark.
But I saw the highlights of it.
WNBA
It's frustrating. I'm glad that someone stuck up for it, put it that way. That's the meal ticket for that league.
Exactly.
100% the meal ticket.
So we'll get into that more coming up 20 minutes here on Cody and Gold. All right. The Chiefs minicamp, mandatory minicamp, day number 2 today. We heard from a few Chiefs players yesterday, and I was looking over at CBS Sports, and they were going through best case, worst case scenarios for every team in the NFL for this season. And yeah, we can check out some of the other rival teams if you want, but what they said about the Chiefs was interesting, and it got us thinking about what does worst case scenario look like? What does even regression look like, and how do fans handle that? So here, this was from Cody Benjamin. He wrote about the Chiefs. Best case scenario, he said, Mahomes' offensive line recovers from an ugly Super Bowl. A freshened up pass catching core led by Worthy and Rice reignites the deep attack, and the dynasty captures yet another championship. That's best case scenario. I would tend to agree. Worst case scenario, the line is reworked, but no less unstable, forcing Mahomes to scramble more than he'd like. Andy Reid's scheming can't undo lingering injuries. They fail to make the Super Bowl for the first time in 4 years. He says that's worst case scenario. One, do you agree that the end result is that worst case scenario for this team, just a failure in the Super Bowl?
Well, they've gotten to that point now where it's Super Bowl or bust. I'll never forget Kelsey, what he said after that Buccaneers lost in the Super Bowl. Someone asked him, successful season or not? And he's like, well, I can't put it that way. I'm kind of paraphrasing it, but no, it's not because we win it all. Patriots got to that point. If they didn't win it, it wasn't successful to them. It was about getting there. Because I'll never forget, Clark Hunt had that talk to the team before they won, that Mahomes won his first ring. It was in St. Joe. And he gave kind of the MO for the team for the year. He goes, listen, I want to win my dad's trophy, and let's go down, let's win the Super Bowl in Miami. And they did. Like, I've never heard him really put a mission statement out to the team, but you heard it in the article there. And he kind of talked about it. That's what I'm talking about, the whole looking at their line. That's the one thing. Again, they had 3 Pro Bowl offensive linemen, 2 first-team All-Pros on that line. But that's what people are talking about is the Chiefs line. And obviously, for obvious reasons, it shows you how important that left tackle is when you have 3 Pro Bowlers on your offensive line. But he did bring that right up in that article. But can you handle regression? I don't know. I mean,
What does that look like?
I've lived in this town my whole life. I remember 21 years without winning a playoff game. I remember what that felt like. I remember making the one AFC title game in my lifetime, being in '94 in Buffalo, and just the excitement of actually playing in that game and then getting spanked around by the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, I remember those times. But then I remember the lean times, about getting to the postseason, not winning a game, the Marty years, those kind of years. I remember all that stuff. So, yeah, can fans handle it? And I don't know, they're so accustomed now to putting their Super Bowl spreads out now and not watching the Patriots, watching the Chiefs. And can they handle it? The Chiefs don't win the division. Because I've seen people completely melt down on the text line or calls or whatever on the Chiefs postgame show when they lose a game where it's a real close game. It's, fire Andy and all this. Like, give me 10 other coaches. Give me 10 other coaches that you'd want. Let's just start with that, because I'm looking at the number 2 all-time guy in postseason wins. And Patrick Mahomes, by the way, is number 2 all-time in postseason wins for quarterbacks. We'll get to that. But just find that out. Can you handle regression? Because a few years ago, and even the last couple of years, and they've been 15th in offense in the NFL as far as points per game, people are melting down about it, but yet they keep getting there to the end.
Is that what you think a regression is, Ben? Because going back to what Gold was going to ask you, is them losing the division, is that the regression?
I think so.
Because to me, I think it is. Forget whether they win or lose it. I think if they get eliminated before the AFC title game, I know that sounds crazy, but I think that's the regression of them losing in the wild card or divisional round. That's the regression that I think people are really going to run with the narrative more of. Maybe the dynasty actually is kind of over once they stop making those AFC title games.
Yeah, I think the regression, if you're at, what does that look like? The bar is extremely high, but I think where what you're asking, the panic part of it and the freak out, it's if all of a sudden for the first time in 9 years
they don't
win the AFC West. That's when the panic would happen.
Yep.
Would people be disappointed if they don't make a Super Bowl? Of course. I mean, because it is Super Bowl or bust when you have Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback. But as far as a true regression, it's that the O-line's not fixed, and the Broncos or Chargers, one of those two teams get you. You only win 11 games, they win 12, or you win 12, but they get the tiebreaker on you. And this team, for the first time in the Mahomes era, is sitting there wild card weekend on the road.
You're not winning those one-score games, too. That's regression, I could see.
And people you thought it was, last year they won 15 games, and you guys remember the conversations all year nationally and locally about, as you said, the one-score games, and this team's just not good enough, it doesn't matter, and they still won 15 games, and they went to a Super Bowl. Can you imagine in a year where they actually are, struggling, truly struggling, as in the wins and losses? Honestly, since we've been doing this show, obviously Cody and I have been doing the show now, I guess, going on our 6th year or whatever. All they have done is win 11 or more games, right? And most of those years, I think 12 or more, actually.
Well, even Andy Reid, his worst year is 9-7. That's the one year he didn't make the playoffs in 2014. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's his worst year is 9-7. And they've rebuilt this team right in front of you, too. They've pretty much rebuilt that offensive line after that Buccaneers Super Bowl a couple years ago when they drafted Pacheco and Najee Johnson, Jalen Watson, and those guys, and they're playing in the Super Bowl. They were essentially rebuilding the team through the draft because they had to totally flip it. Look at this roster compared to when Mahomes started to what it is now and who's actually on the team. There's 3 of them besides Mahomes. I mean, they have rebuilt this roster, rebuilt this team. It's been unbelievable what Brett Veach has been able to do with this team, but can people handle regression? And then do you think, okay, this is just, stubbed your foot, stubbed your toe, this team's going to be fine the next year. But yeah, I mean, the Patriots went 10 years without winning the Super Bowl. Do I think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl every year? No. Do I think they're going to go 10 years without not winning it? Hell no. It's Mahomes' prime once you get to the 30s, so I don't see that happening. But I think people have a hard time with it, though. I really do. I think people have grown so accustomed to winning the division. And why wouldn't you? Mahomes, it was, one loss on the road in the division? I mean, they have owned this division. What happens if they do take that step back? I don't know if people can handle that.
Yeah, so I don't. So I think they're going to, not to the extent we're talking about. I still think they're going to win this division, but they're not winning 15 games again, right? That's not going out on a limb here, saying, "Oh my gosh, they're not going to win 15."
But they easily won this division, where you had 3 playoff teams from the West, the most in the AFL.
I still think they're a 13-win football team. Worst case scenario, a 12-win football team. So if they're regressing by 3 wins, for a lot of, by the way, that's what's crazy about the 15-win mark. If I told you any other team in football, guys, you were saying they're going to win 3 fewer games, you'd say, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah.
you'd be saying, "Wow, well, that's the bar they have set. That's how great of a season that they had last year in terms of win-loss." What I have said about this AFC West this year is the Broncos are now heading, of course, into year 2 of Bo Nix, and I do like what they did in the draft, both on the defensive side and what they did in their backfield. And
what
I think
they did in the first round.
Yeah, and I think they'll be competitive. The Chargers, I still have some questions on where they're going to be at offensively in terms of explosiveness, but Harbaugh obviously has the mentality there now, and the pieces I actually think in place in terms of what he wants, right? His culture, if you will, that's a big thing. And they were ahead of a schedule last year. But I'm still trying to figure out how everybody makes up more than 3 games. If the Chiefs regress and win 12, so that's a 3-win loss from a year ago, then who's increasing? The Chargers have to get to 12. They were at 11, weren't they, last year? Yep. And the Broncos were 10. So then either the Broncos are winning 2 more games, the Chargers are winning 1. That's just to get to a tiebreaker scenario. The Chargers have to win 2 more games. The Broncos have to win 3. And I know you'll say, hey, well, if the Chiefs are winning 3 fewer, don't you think one of those losses is now going to go to the Chargers?
And the Raiders are automatic wins like they used to be.
Right. I understand if the Chiefs are going to win 3 fewer, most likely one of those losses is coming to a divisional team. Totally get that. I really struggle. I don't believe any other team in this division is capable of getting to 13 wins, is I guess what I'm saying. To me, the Broncos or Chargers are going to have to win off of a tiebreaker at 12 wins.
They won the division by 4 games. In a year where you had 4 playoff teams, or 3 playoff teams in the AFC West, 3, and yet you win the division by 4. That's insane to win a division by 4 games, and yet 3 of those teams made the playoffs from that division. That is incredible what they did.
I'm curious to see what you guys think, because I don't, because to me, like, regression by the simplest terms is if they only win 12 games this year. But to me, I look further, like, to the performance of the playoffs for the regression, because technically, like, the Chiefs could go 10-7 this year, lose the division, but they still win the Super Bowl. So I think if they lose the division, everybody would be clamoring and complaining and whining, but then they could go on to win the Super Bowl again. So it's not a regression.
And they proved they could play on the road in the playoffs.
It was
the
better
big
than
question.
last year. So I think that's where I think the playoff performance essentially is the kind of the end-all, be-all and everything, because they could go 10-7, and we could have the text line could be just full of, they need to get rid of Andy, all this craziness. People are freaking
the
out
armchair
and everything.
Karens would be going crazy.
But then they could, the who?
The armchair Karens.
Oh, okay. Is that what you're calling them now?
Yeah.
But they could go 10-7. Everybody could be freaking out, and then they go on a run and they win the Super Bowl, and it's better than what they did last year when they won 15 games. So that's I don't think you could call 10-7 a regression if they went and they won the whole thing. You
if they do regress 2 games to 13 wins, this division will be pretty close to that point, because you mentioned the Chargers with 11 wins. The Broncos 10 last year. You would have to think they'd take that step up to at least 11 or 12. Do I expect this division to be 4 games difference between the Chiefs and the Chargers like it was last year? No. But it doesn't matter in the end. If you win the AFC West, you win the AFC West.
I think the first 2 weeks of the season, I don't want to say it tells us everything, but man, oh man, because of the narrative around this football team after the Super Bowl loss and the way they looked and what people are saying nationally, it's the same offseason conversation where somehow every offseason people start to doubt Mahomes, et cetera. If the Chiefs go to Brazil and look great against the Chargers, and then they win against the Eagles, the defending champs, here at Arrowhead, week 2, all of a sudden, everything changes. And again, and I acknowledge the flip side of it, right? If the Chiefs were to start off, oh my gosh, 0-2 or something, then everybody see they're completely done. The first 2 weeks, I think, shift so much narrative wise and how people are going to talk about how we're going to talk about this team for the first 2 months, 3 months of the season.
Every loss the Chiefs have gets magnified on all the shows. Every time they lose or barely win, they block the kick against the Browns. That was talked about on every show nationally, NFL Network, ESPN Live, all that. The sky's falling. Even when the Chiefs lose just 1 game, but if they do start in that hole, whoa, look out. Don't even turn your TV on.
And then in week 4, they got the Ravens. So,
right.
I mean, obviously,
and they're looking for vengeance.
Yeah, coming up in about 8 minutes, guys, we'll talk about Caitlin Clark. I have a Caitlin Clark card update, and we'll talk about what happened in the WNBA last night, which I think it doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you're the players in the league and why you continue to go after Caitlin Clark. She's obviously the most important thing for you to make money in the future, but we'll get to that in a bit. Thinking of making money, we'll get to Cash Out Bro later on now that the Stanley Cup is over and he did not hit his ticket, but there's some more details coming out around him, plus you'll want to hear what he had to say. But have you guys ever played the ESPN app game. It's been around for, I don't know, probably 20 years. Beat the Streak, and it's trying to break DiMaggio's record.
Yeah.
But based off of just, you can pick any player.
Yeah, I've done it.
You got to get to 57. Nobody's ever gotten to 57, and if you do, it's $5.6 million, right? 56, so $5.6 million. There was a player that had picked 50 straight, which is insane. 50 straight. And last night, he picked Jacob Wilson, which makes a lot of sense. Right? Jacob Wilson's a Rookie of the Year favorite, and this guy doesn't strike out.
No.
He doesn't walk, so he's getting on base. Like last night, final at bat, bottom of the 8th inning, 1-1 game. Jacob Wilson at that point is 0 for 3, I think. So this guy needs a hit to stay alive to get to 51. And Jacob Wilson hits a fly ball, kind of what we saw last week against the Yankees, right? No man's land there in right field. The ball drops. They rule it fielder's choice.
Yeah.
The guy's streak is over. He was 7 away from winning $5.6 million. He had picked 50 straight in. I don't know how many times he picked Jacob Wilson. It doesn't matter. Every day you can pick a different player, but you got to keep the hitting streak alive. It sounds easier. You're like, oh, that's not that bad. I can pick any player. No. It's the most I ever got on that streak game. I haven't played it in years. Was like 28, and I thought that was amazing.
That's really
and that was it. That's the most ever, and that was probably 7+ years ago. But that's brutal, man. 50 right, and you're 7 away, and you pick Jacob Wilson. You're thinking, oh my gosh. You wouldn't have picked a Royals player heading into last night, and they were the team that got a bunch of hits.
Probably wouldn't have handled that situation very well.
Oh, yeah, that guy's sick to his stomach. And that's different. You know, this is different than the cash out bro thing. I mean, this guy didn't have any money. He didn't have to pay any money. There was no cash out option on this. Like, he knew he had to get to 57. He'll never get closer than that. And then also it ends on a fielder's choice. Ooh, brutal. Absolutely brutal. Up next, let's talk about Caitlin Clark. I got a card update and an interesting take from Ian Rappaport about Josh Simmons and how the Chiefs are handling him heading into training camp.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
0% financing is back at Reiselman Nissan. 0% APR for 5 full years on both Nissan Rogue and Pathfinder. Or choose 1.9% for 72 months or even 3.49% APR for 84 months. Bought your last car at 6, 7, even 8% interest, trade it in and drive off in a brand new Nissan and lower your monthly payment. Plus, get up to $6,000 in rebates on the rugged Nissan Frontier. And don't miss 1.9% APR for 60 months on the sleek and powerful Murano. No one in Kansas City has a better selection. Visit Reiselman.com for details. Reiselman Nissan. Every customer, every time.
This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help this patient.
Hi, my name is John, and I've been on ED and testosterone treatment at Heartland Men's Health for the past 15 months. I could tell, I was starting to go downhill, and my wife kept telling me, well, you need to go to a clinic that'll specialize in that. And that's what eventually led me into the men's clinic here. Treatment, in my opinion, is a miracle. I was able to perform to an elevated position that, quite honestly, I never thought I'd see again. For my fellow men out there, if you're feeling that you're not up to par, I encourage you, contact Heartland Men's Health, and you will see a dramatic difference.
Thank you. It's true. Your initial appointment includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
One of my favorite things to do at Hy-Vee is saving money on gas. And this weekend, I'm in luck. This Saturday, June 21st and Sunday, June 22nd, earn a 30-cent per gallon fuel discount with every $60 grocery purchase at Hy-Vee. And Hy-Vee isn't just saving us money at the pump. They're lowering prices in every department. And on top of that, you can save on fuel as well. So this weekend, stock up for summer and stack up those fuel savings this weekend only at Hy-Vee.
Nothing tastes better than sweet summer corn or a juicy ripe watermelon. Indulge yourself in the fresh taste of summer this Thursday through Sunday at Hy-Vee. We're rolling back prices on your favorite produce like sweet corn, 4 for $1, avocados just 69 cents, seedless grapes 99 cents a pound, candy cantaloupe $1.99, and russet potato 5-pound bags just $1.48. Stock up on all the juicy deals during the mega produce sale this Thursday through Sunday only at Lvie.
Jefferson's has a brand new happy hour designed to save you money. Enjoy half off appetizers and half off your bar tab. 7 days a week at Jefferson's Lenexa and Jefferson's North Kansas City. Yeah, you heard that right. Half off your bar tab during happy hour at both locations. And it gets even better. Mondays are all day happy hour. Plus, they've got reverse happy hour every night. Whether you're catching the game or just kicking back with family and friends, Jefferson's in Lenexa and North Kansas City is the place to be. Proudly local and always delicious. Jefferson's. Wings, burgers, oysters.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-707-6152. 800-707-6152. 800-707-6152.
Are you annoyingly inattentive? Do you watch a movie and then ask a zillion questions because you weren't paying attention? Do people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Mattress Firm's July 4th sale is on now. Get a king bed for a queen price and save up to $700. Plus, get a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2025 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 7/20/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
When it comes to DSPs, usability matters. Some platforms bury you in complexity. Results-driven advertising shouldn't look like a chemistry experiment. Viant's AI-powered DSP streamlines setup, automates measurement and optimization, and keeps you in control. Less clicking, more strategy. And with proven CTV leadership across premium publishers, Viant works smarter and delivers stronger. Why are you still trading on a desk? Visit Viant.ai to unlock real results today.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
I mean, is that displacement? I think it is.
Oh, and Marina Mabry's going to get ejected. If the officials saw that, Marina Mabry is going to get ejected.
Well, they're going to go and look at it. Look at Mabry. She's got a scar on one side, scratch on one side of her face, a scratch on the other side. It's not from the game today. I asked her about it. She's always in the mix. There's a lot of contact here.
So that was the broadcast last night, WNBA. Drew was watching. It was on NBA TV, I believe. It was Indiana Fever, which is, of course, for those that don't know, the team that Caitlin Clark plays for. They were taking on one of the worst teams in the league in Connecticut, Sun. And the Fever won like 88-70 or something like that.
Yeah, they won.
And what you heard there, though, in the third quarter, there was an incident where Caitlin Clark actually received a technical foul after being hit in the face. by J.C. Sheldon, and then she gets knocked to the ground. We can get into the specifics. Drew was actually watching. I only caught the highlight. But in general, I'll just say this every single game stuff. One, yeah, we're talking about the WNBAs. You could argue it's good, right? And Caitlin Clark, as we've mentioned, the TV ratings are all because of Caitlin Clark. But the fact that so many players can't stand her, jealousy, among other things, I don't get it. This is your cash cow. Your future earnings 5 years from now, 10 years from now, the TV deals the league gets and all that, attendance, all of that allows you to eventually make more money yourself is because of her. Why are you trying to, potentially hurt your gravy train, if you will, to making more money? I do not get this whatsoever. I understand the backstory on a lot of it. There's a jealousy component. Unfortunately, I think there's a racial component to some of this as well that plays into all of it. But I just don't get this on a night. Anytime she plays now, the opponents are trying to cause a fight, get her hurt. And now I'm excited to see that Caitlin Clark has said enough. I'm done with you guys. I'm going to fight back. And one of her teammates, Sophie Cunningham, backed her up, and she got ejected from the game.
That was a straight takedown. I love seeing that, what she did defending her teammate. But I don't know why people do this in sports to the cash cows. What was the ratings? Down 50% when she was hurt?
Yes.
Across the league, 50% was the ratings drop when she wasn't playing. If that doesn't spell it out for anybody and everybody that in that league that knows she is the league, I liken it to Tiger Woods when he had his little indiscretion, right? And you hear these golfers, talking trash and everything on him and thinking, man, the purse of these tournaments way up since Tiger's playing. I mean, here's a guy that's made him a ton of money, and they're doing that. And then you hear some of the stuff about Mahomes and the league and the players. Hey, Chiefs were the first playoff team ever on Peacock, first ever on Netflix. I mean, the league uses the Chiefs. They are kind of the cash cow for the league that they benefit from. But yet they look at that, and the jealousy does run rampant. It's not just with Caitlin. I've seen it in other sports like golf, in the NFL as well. But the WNBA and Caitlin Clark, that is the only reason. And that's why I threw it out there a couple weeks ago. It's like, do you actually watch these games, or are you just watching her? Because I really wanted to know, because actually I think you're watching because of her. That is completely – when ratings are down 50% when she's hurt, that says all you need to know, that they are watching her and her only, unless you're Drew.
Well, I think that there were a couple instances. Like the one that you played coming back, Gold, was the one that kind of set things off. So Mabry, you heard Pat Boylan was on the call, was like, Mabry's going to get ejected. She wasn't even given anything other than – she wasn't even given a flagrant. It was a technical foul is what she got. That, I think, set the tone for – going forward. Caitlin Clark hit a late shot over Sheldon. She screamed to the bench and was like, you like that? She pulled a Kirk Cousins, was yelling at the bench and was, everything like that. I think that also set people the wrong way, where J.C. Sheldon's got a fast break and Sophie Cunningham's like, look, you keep on getting into my teammate. I'm not standing for this anymore. I'm going to give you a hard foul, which is all I thought it was. Then the incident afterwards is what spurred on the technicals, the ejections, and everything like that. But from the jump, that was
a big takedown, man.
From the jump, I think it was an officiating problem where they could have avoided that latter issue if they would have been able to set the baseline of, okay, we're not going to allow this to happen. And I think over the course of, they've allowed things to happen at an inconsistent level with, whether it be Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese had her hair pulled the other day.
Right, I saw that.
And that was a really big deal. Obviously, if you get your hair pulled, it's going to be a problem,
Yeah.
So I think
Except in the NFL, it's legal.
That's right. You can tackle.
Which is also ridiculous.
When Troy Polamalu was picking you off and running the opposite way, legal. you can just tackle him by his hair.
It's not just a Caitlin Clark thing, but going back to the premise of everything, I think it's more jealousy than anything else, I think, Gold, where they know the way that she came into the league, everybody's talking about it like she's the best player. She's coming to take over. Everything's about her. And I think that really rubbed some people the wrong way, particularly those who are already settled in.
This is year 2, though. You know what I mean?
Correct,
and that's why she's treating it differently. Yeah. I get in year 1, you want to make a statement that, hey, this is professional basketball. You're going to have to earn it, kind of thing. But this is year 2. I think she's already shown enough in the WNBA.
She's shown that she is a superstar.
Somebody texted in. Somebody texted in and said, Caitlin, stop acting like she's a superstar. She's just a good player. I couldn't disagree more. I could not. She might be right now, when we look at all the sports leagues, the most important. The biggest, what's the word? Needle mover, I guess, for any league in sports right now, in terms of someone say, hey, you guys are talking WNBA. That point right there. We would never We had never talked WNBA on the show until Caitlin Clark became a member of WNBA. We don't talk about it a lot, admittedly, but we never would have even mentioned anything. You know how many people probably have no idea the Connecticut Sun even existed?
Well, who's the biggest star you think right now in the NFL? Who would you say is the biggest star?
In the NFL, I mean, Mahomes is still that.
So Mahomes is hurt for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Ratings aren't dropping 50%. Like the WNBA.
True.
Ratings are not dropping 50%. That's all you need to know. When they look at their checking account and they see their money coming in, when they fly on chartered flights now, thank Caitlin. Like, seriously, that's the reality of the situation. Their lives are better because of her, but they don't appreciate it.
And to that point, I thought Nick Wright made a good point the other day. I don't know if it was on The Volume with Cowherd or if it was just on whatever show they have. He said behind LeBron, Steph, and Kevin Durant, Caitlin Clark might be the fourth biggest star in the sport of basketball, point blank. Just in terms of popularity,
maybe even bigger, honestly.
Name recognition, anything like that. Like it's she obviously is a very big deal.
We also brought it up because you guys that have listened to the show for a little bit or were listening at least at the end of April as well, remember the Caitlin Clark card. Bank, you're aware of the story, right? So
it's a lot of money.
And Dusty's into the card. I got Dusty into it now. He had a nice hit the other day on a 101 Marlins prospect card. I don't want to share his full business if he said the dollar amount or not, but he had a nice little payday off of his card. And he's into it. A lot of people are into it. We know Bobby Wood Jr.'s into it. Caglianone's into it as well. But I was in a break, and I pulled a Caitlin Clark 101 card. And so we mentioned on the show, you guys remember the story about the post office and the mess with the shipping. Long story short, it was supposed to be in the June auction.
You took the day off for it.
Well, because I had to sign for it. And
which he should have done.
And I've learned a little bit more throughout the process of what maybe I should have done, shouldn't have done. Listened to some people, and I don't want to say was given bad advice. Long story short, so it was needed to be sent off to get graded and then go to an auction house. I sent it to the auction house, goes to PSA. There was an issue with how it was submitted, unfortunately. That delayed the process. Finally, last night, I don't have the card in my possession. It's at the auction house, but it got sent back to them, and I found out what the grade was. A lot of you have been asking, what's the grade? And the grade matters, whether it's a 10, 9, whatever, because the dollar amount, right? I was told if it's a 10, there's a chance it's a $20,000, $25,000 card. And I said, I don't think it's going to be a 10, but maybe it's a 9 or something like that. And so you're a $10,000, $15,000 card. So an update on this. Not the news I was hoping for, Bank. So it came back what they call PSA authentic. What that means is it did not come back as a 9 or a 10. You can basically have them.
But how, though? It was brand new. Didn't you put it in a case or
this
something?
Is where it gets complicated.
It was brand new.
Here's where it gets complicated. Just because a card is pulled right out of the pack does not mean it's a 10. Does not mean it's a 9. I know that's crazy, but that's just not how it works. There could be print errors. There could be a lot of things. Now, I had the card at one point in my physical possession. With the naked eye, it looked amazing. But that, you have to understand, they look under it, light and microscope, and there may have been something I missed. I'm still not convinced it shouldn't have been a 9 or a 10, obviously. I'm biased, and I haven't seen the card. I shipped it, protected, and all this. But long story short, so it's PSA authentic. Now, a couple things can happen. Somebody out there that wants to buy it in the July auction might say, oh, it looks good to me. I'll buy it. I'll crack the slab, and I'll resubmit it to Beckett or PSA. Somebody else may also not care. But so it's a little disappointing. I mean, it's not going to go for $20,000 anymore is basically what this means. And now I have no idea. Is it going to go for 5? Going to go for 3? Going to go for 10? I don't.
The grade?
I don't know. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not a grade. It's PSA authentic. It does not have a grade. It means it was not a 9 or a 10, though. Okay. And so it'll be in the July auction. But that's the update. Not the update I was hoping for. It's taken a lot longer than I was hoping for as well.
You want to punch Drew?
The PSA stuff is also very subjective. There are stories of people submitting a card, getting a 7 or an 8, then they resubmit the same card, and it comes back as a 10. I'm serious. This is a real thing that happens. It's because there are people that are grading these, right? It could be as simple as somebody had a bad day that was grading it. It's just, it's crazy. They are all over the place when it comes to grading. It's not consistent. They're grading tougher now. But PSA is the standard, and that's what usually brings the value. In hindsight, I should have just probably listed it off of eBay and sold it raw and seen what the offers were. I obviously had a $7,000 offer for it. And I turned it down. So now I'm hoping to at least get that. Otherwise, it ends up being a bad decision. So
you're just like the hedge guy.
Oh, the cash out bro guy?
Cash out bro guy.
Yeah. No, mine, I did not have the same extent at all.
I think Gold is in the same. Gold is in a better position currently, unless I think he's in a better position.
Yeah. So that's the update.
That sucks, man.
Some of you have been asking on Twitter and stuff. I'll let you know when it's in the auction. That'll be in July. I think it goes live July 6th. I'll obviously post the link, and hopefully this thing goes still for a nice amount of money. But it's not going to be. It's not going to be 20.
You go in the auction?
It's online. It's for a month.
Oh,
it's online for a month. Yeah, I don't have to go.
I think he goes to sometimes like Chicago and all that.
Oh, you're talking about the National Card Show? That's in Chicago at the end of July. I've gone to that twice.
Isn't that the Fanatics? Is that the Fanatics
That's
Card
different.
Show? Or is it
Fanatics Fest is in New York, and that's coming up very soon. National is the biggest card show.
Okay.
And it rotates. It's in Chicago this year. I think it was in Atlantic City or something last year, or Cleveland. But yeah, man. So we'll see. I'm still excited. It's just now it's been just the card was pulled April 26th, and it's June 18th, and we're still waiting for the auction to happen. So that's where things stand. Some of you have been asking about that. All right, let's talk about Josh Simmons, because Ian Rappaport on NFL Network the other day was discussing how the Chiefs are handling Josh Simmons. We all know that the Chiefs have talked about him being maybe ahead of schedule. They love the progress, but I'm still skeptical, as you are, about his availability day one at camp and his availability as a left tackle week one of the season. And what Rappaport says here doesn't make me feel that I shouldn't be still cautious about that. And here's what he had to say, Bink.
Well, to me, they stand in a really, really good place. What the Kansas City Chiefs did was not just draft Simmons in the first round, and you're right, fell to them. And this is someone I think they really secretly had their eyes on the entire time. They were really happy with where he was medically coming back from that torn patella tendon. Not all teams were sure about this one. Chiefs were really happy with where he was. I think tried to keep it quiet because this is the player they wanted, just because he's such an unbelievably talented tackle despite the injury. But they also don't want to rush him. So they're giving him some time off during the spring. They're making sure he has days to rehab and rehabilitate. They also signed Jalen Moore to come in and be their left tackle until whenever, basically until Simmons is ready, or maybe the entire year, or maybe Simmons starts out as the swing tackle. Most important thing for the Chiefs is they have talent there and they have depth there to not be caught short at one of the most important positions on the football field. And seeing the resources that they use to address this really underscores how important and essential they believe a good left tackle is.
Yeah, and some of the good news, too, about it is Andy Reid, when he talked in his presser, Simmons did. We played a little bit of it yesterday. But Andy Reid's talking to him all the time afterwards. And also Mitch Schwartz, I guess, is involved, too, as kind of a mentor, which is good. It's good for Simmons. Hopefully he takes that advice from somebody like Mitch, one of the best that's ever done it, hearing that. But the swing tackle thing and things like that, that kind of said tamper your expectations a little bit. Swing tackle, I mean, I've never heard, those kind of terms. I can't see him being that situation. But will he take it slow in St. Joe? Yeah. I look at Wanye Morris last year. He was a starting left tackle all through OTAs. They get to training camp, that's when they put Kingsley in, right? So you can't always go by what went on in OTAs. It's when they get to St. Joe. It's pretty much your starting line when Andy Reid trots that line out there at that point. Now, it can change.
Yeah.
Do I expect Simmons to be in that group right from the beginning? No. I think it's going to
it's not even so much. It's not even so much what unit he's working with. If he's with the ones or the twos, is he just on the field practicing? I actually feel great. If you tell me that the first or second day we're up in St. Joe and Simmons is not, and he's working with the twos and Jalen Moore is working with the ones, that's actually awesome. Yeah, I mean, it really is. The question is he working with anybody, or is he working on the side in a tent on a bike? Is he going back up the hill at St. Joe? That's where you get concerned. And what I'm still very cautious about, and why you and I both think there is still, I'd say, better than 10, 20% chance that he's on the PUP list still to start the season. I know the Chiefs have not said that. And you can say, hey, they said
reserve pup, he'd have to miss the first 4 games.
Yeah.
But
and that's not the end of the world, okay? It's not the end of the world, but it's great that he's out there during minicamp and mandatory OTAs. But you even heard from Rappaport, like they're giving him a day off after. Like that is fine now. But when you get to camp, if you're getting days off, well, then you're not going to be in position to start week 1. You're going to be on the PUP list. If you're having to take a day or 2 off after practicing at camp, well, then you should start the season on the PUP list. And then based on how Jalen Moore looks, like if Jalen Moore is playing great the first month of the season, well, then
that's the wild card right there is how good he is.
Then you keep him as a starter, and it's a good problem to have. If Jalen Moore is not playing great, or Jawan Taylor's not playing great, and then it gets to week 5 or 6 or whenever, and Josh Simmons is good to go, well, then you can make a change then. So they actually do have, I will say, the depth in the options they have are definitely better positioned than what they had, it appears, at least, heading into the season compared to last year.
I just hope that it gets to a situation where, and I don't expect it right from the beginning. I do expect them to take it a little bit slow. It's going to be different, man. Pads are going to be on. It's going to be much different than walking out there like we're seeing now with the mini camps and wearing the shorts and everything. Much, much different once the pads come on. And guys are trying to make the team, and you're going against elite NFL talent, trying to earn that roster spot and protecting Patrick Mahomes. But that's the ultimate thing. But it goes back to yesterday. You think about how good the offensive line, in theory, was last year. I know some of the pass blocking grades were good. When you have first-team All-Pros and Tooney at left guard and Creed Humphrey at center, obviously Tooney's gone. But last year, that was your line during the Barry talks about the line and the problems they had in the line, and every mock draft had them getting left tackle because they considered it such a problem, which it is. It shows you how important that left tackle position is. If you're that good in the interior part of your line, but yet you still worry about the offensive line, it's really just worrying about one position. That's left tackle.
Coming up in about 12 minutes, we'll talk a little bit about where the NFL and all these sports leagues are headed when it comes to how we watch these particular games, right? We all know the additional TV packages and the different time slots and all of that. For the first time ever, something has happened with streaming. We'll explain what that is in about 10 to 12 minutes or so. But Stephen A. Smith, who is the face of ESPN, who everybody at this point in time knows he whether it's sports or not, he's a very polarizing figure. That's why he's making a ton of money. He was at the NBA Finals a couple nights ago, and somebody in the stands, for whatever reason, decided to zoom in on Stephen A. Smith's phone from the upper deck. You guys have probably seen this story by now, but he was playing solitaire like during a commercial break of the Pacers-Thunder game.
There was action on the court. So that he claimed that it was during break.
Right.
There was a video that came out. There was action on the court, and he was still playing it.
And he was on SiriusXM yesterday, and he was asked about playing solitaire during the game.
I can also be playing a little game
That's right.
on my phone.
That's right. Like I was doing
now.
solitaire.
What's going on here?
And I was doing what the hell I always do. And for those out there who don't like it, kiss my ass. When I'm watching the game, I'm watching the game. If there's a break in the action, it could be a dead ball, it could be a timeout or something like that. I can play the damn thing for 2 seconds. Somebody is standing over me, upper deck, zooming in on my phone, watching me and saying, "Oh, he's playing solitaire. He's not focusing on the game." I watch over 100 games a year. I'm on TV every morning for 2 hours, 10 hours live every day. And that's just one job. That don't count Countdown. That don't count Sports Center. That don't count all the obligations that I have. And I'm sitting there and getting a little break, and I decide to play a little solitaire, which, by the way, I always do. And I mean always. If I sit up there, if there's halftime, I might go on my phone for 2 minutes and play solitaire. At the end of the game, before a game, I do the same thing. Damn it, if you had a little break in between, I might have been praying it again because I like the game.
How'd you do in that particular game?
I won that particular game. I worked too damn hard, too long, too many hours to be worried about what people think I'm doing for 30 seconds. They can kiss off. I ain't worried about it. This is what I do. I do what I do.
So that's Stephen A.
Loved it.
On SiriusXM. So it's funny. I actually don't have that as big of a problem with it as I guess some people have. Is it a quote unquote, we always say bad look or whatever? I guess, right? You're getting paid to cover the game. That's your job and all that. And if you were playing it while the game was going on, yeah, it's not a good look. In general, does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? No, I find it to be pretty humorous at this point. I couldn't tell you the last time I played solitaire. Do you guys play on your phone?
No, not
It's been
bad.
a while.
I mean, who cares, though? You always hear with the players, stick to the playbook. Look at the playbook. Why is he out doing the concert? Why is he out there, doing other stuff? Why aren't you doing the playbook and learning the plays for the team? You hear that all the time. Haven't really heard it with somebody in the that covers the games like Stephen A. But who really cares what he's doing? And here's the thing. How many other people have done much of the same thing but didn't have someone spying on them from the upper deck?
I think it's different when you're getting when you're at the game. Like, as the players go into the club or whatever on a weekend when they're not, it's not like they're passing up a game or missing practice to go do it.
No, but they still complain about it. People do.
No, I know that, which is why I think it makes sense that people are complaining that Stephen A. is doing this while the game is going on, when it's his job to cover it and
I wouldn't have chosen to do that
and analyze it.
Yeah, if I was Stephen A., I wouldn't have chosen to do that. I just don't think it's all that big of a deal.
It's not a big deal.
I don't think it is as much as people are saying. However, I will say there have been instances where the conversation doesn't feel as deep as it should about basketball. Like the other day, game 4 of the finals was on, and they were talking about whether or not Luka's legacy was, or if his leadership was good or not. Not even talking like the topic selection isn't
Well, they got producers. He's not selecting the topics. I mean, he has a role, but they got producers for that.
It's of which something that they're not analyzing the game to the lengths of what other people are when it's the biggest series of the season.
Drew, you've been in a few press boxes now, have you? I know you've been in a bunch, Gold. What's the number one thing the media is doing during the game? I mean,
eating.
During the game,
Eating.
They're on Twitter.
A lot of them are typing their story.
They're on Twitter.
It depends on who it is.
No, it depends. If you're in the NFL press box, everybody's got their laptop up. You know what they're doing? They're checking Twitter to have their takes put out there. It's a common thing that people that cover games. I don't want to hear anybody criticizing him really, because that's what everybody does during games is something else. Because I've seen it.
But Bink, if Stephen A. was going on there to talk about the fact that Tyrese Halliburton hasn't scored anything and he's tweeting that out, fine. He's playing a game and he's getting and it is a distraction regardless of anything else. That's the same reason John Morant called him out yesterday, because he was slamming the city of Memphis, and then John goes, "You're not even talking about the series that's going on right now. You're worried about something that is a complete offseason conversation that can come up in 2 weeks when the series is over with. Talk about the series. Focus on the game so you can talk about the series."
I'm just saying there's a whole bunch of not paying attention to the game with people in the press boxes.
Yeah, I just
I'll
don't.
tell you that firsthand.
Yeah, it's as I said. I in general, I don't think Stephen A. Smith's analysis though is deeply affected because he was caught playing solitaire for a few minutes.
I don't think it is either, but I understand why people are frustrated.
Again, it's the look thing. It's the optics are not great.
Agreed.
I'll give
it's
you
a bad look.
I'll give you that. It was his response to it's pretty funny.
Oh, it's great.
He just leaned into it and he's like, "Kiss my ass. I play solitaire."
Perfect.
that's what he said. Good for him. All right,
he got him into a big game, and he's timeout and players went back out there, but he's got to finish up what he's doing.
Up next, 11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. We're just getting started on a Wednesday. Something happened with streaming for the first time ever, what it tells us about the future of sports. And we got to get to Cash Out Bro, whose ticket did not cash, but he still came away with money. But I'm a little skeptical. That's next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Well, we are in the heart of baseball season. Baseball season is in full swing. That means the summer heat is coming, and boy, oh boy, it's going to be very, very hot over the next couple of days here in Kansas City. But the guys over at Climate Control, they've been serving KC homeowners for over 35 years. They know how to get your cooling system ready to handle our scorching hot summer weather. You want to stay cool and comfortable this season? Call Climate Control today at 816-265-2830. That's 816-265-2830 and schedule your AC system tune-up for just $59. Don't wait. Visit ClimateControlKC.com today. Climate Control, heating, cooling, and plumbing.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down. 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
I'm a call with Lisa Mitsuber, and our hotline is open. Annie from Kansas City, what's on your mind?
I want a dealership that I can trust for a lifetime. Is that you?
We're Google's highest review rated and only locally owned Subaru retailer in Kansas City. That's a good start.
I just want a great deal. That's all.
How about every vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty?
What about guarantees?
A lifetime warranty should handle that. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Hi, folks. Bob at Blue Springs Ford. Blayton, you look like you have something to say.
I do. It's our free lifetime powertrain warranty. That includes 24-hour, 7 days a week, every day of the year for 10 years, roadside assistance.
Well, that was a mouthful.
We're talking towing, fuel, oil, water delivery to you, lockout assistance, battery service, flat tire support, emergency assistance.
Folks, if you don't come see us today,
then you'll miss out on our free lifetime warranty.
It's the spring sales event at Rob Sight Ford, and I'm here with the man himself, Rob Sight. Rob, you already stole the spotlight. Now what are you trying to take?
Just your attention, Kevin, and maybe a few trade-ins. Now, we've got up to $14,000 off new Fords with employee pricing, plus our own dealer discount.
14 grand. That's hotter than your Sunday barbecue.
Exactly. And unlike your burgers, these deals won't dry out. We've got hard-to-find inventory, huge trade-in values, and our non-commissioned sales team makes everything so easy.
No pressure, just real help. Even I'll admit it, it's the best place in Kansas City to buy a car, and I don't hand out compliments lightly, or seconds.
That's a fact. And don't forget, we're Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 reviews, and 0 grill marks.
All right, Rob, I'll give it to you, man. You're cooking up some real value over there.
Come see us at 135th and State Line or visit robsight.com. But hurry, these deals are sizzling and inventory's moving fast.
And tell him Rob sent you. No guarantees, but he might throw in a hot dog.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Are you annoyingly inattentive? Do you watch a movie and then ask a zillion questions because you weren't paying attention? Do people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Mattress Firm's July 4th sale is on now. Get a king bed for a queen price and save up to $700. Plus, get a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Subscribe to the 249 Miles of College Football podcast with new episodes released on Wednesdays. Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Today's the company picnic, guys. I think it just started, or it starts in a half hour maybe. Who's running down there to grab some food?
Is the way his ring's not on?
Who's leaving? I don't know. I know today, I believe there's burgers and stuff down the parking lot.
It sounds like you're wanting to volunteer me to go down there.
Or I'll go down and you just come over here and you talk for a little bit. One of the two. Are we passing up the food? Are we just punting on the food, or are we going to try to make this happen?
Kramer said he might help us out and get us.
It's stopped raining, I guess, so I think they can grill. I don't know.
It's a nice day.
Yeah, I might run down there at noon.
Okay.
Perfect. Don't forget the forks and napkins.
What else do you need from you? You need ketchup, you need some mustard.
Maybe some to drink.
Some to drink as well. We'll make a whole list. You can't bring up 3 different plates of food for us or something.
Since you're going, Drew.
One of us is going down there. We'll figure it out at some point in time. But I forgot that was taking place today. Then I saw Kramer. Kramer's grilling.
Should be good. Kramer's really good at that, actually.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to that. Coming up in about 8 minutes, we'll talk about Cash Out Bro. We have a conclusion, somewhat, to the whole Cash Out Bro saga with the Stanley Cup Finals wrapping up yesterday with the Panthers and the Oilers. His 5-leg parlay to win $270,000. We found out some details. Something that Drew and Cody thought was happening with this kid turned out to be true. And I'm very skeptical about the latest update, though, that we have on him. So that's coming up in just a bit. But I noticed that for the first time ever, something happened with streaming. This is from Nielsen, that streaming has now officially surpassed linear TV viewership for the first time ever. And why does this matter? Well, because for years we have seen a complete shift from these sports leagues trying to add more opportunities only on streaming. And I know there's a lot of people that are not happy about this, but the numbers are the numbers. 44% of TV usage in May was done on streaming services, 44.8 compared to 44.2. I'm surprised that's even that close still at this point in time.
Which, by the way, the U.S. Open on Friday, the whole morning you had to be on Peacock.
Yep. Yeah, people were upset. But basically, whether it's Netflix, Peacock, Tubi, you name it, majority of people in the month of May watched on those services. And what's happening in the NFL? We know that the Peacock wildcard game was a big deal a couple of years ago. Now that's like, okay, no, I don't want to say no big deal, but now that we just expect it. We know that Netflix had the Christmas Day games when the Chiefs played on there. We know that the Chiefs-Brazil game against the Chargers is on what? YouTube. Not YouTube TV, but YouTube. We know that, we just Amazon Prime, obviously, on Thursday Night Football. We know there will be more and more opportunities that continue. This is why, now you could argue people are shifting to it because that's where the content is, but this number, we're going to laugh at this number 5 years from now, that 44.8 are on streaming and 2 are on TV or linear TV. That number, it's going to be 65% here in 5 years streaming compared to, 35% when it comes to the regular linear side of things. I mean, the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, even if you watch, on Max, that was where some of the playoffs were on Max this year. So since launching the tracking 4 years ago, streaming viewership is up 71%, while broadcast cable have declined 21% and 39%. YouTube TV doesn't count on this, but YouTube remains the dominating force on streaming, earning 12.5% of all TV viewing in May. Netflix, the second most watched streamer, 7.5% of TV viewing in the month of May. So anybody that's like, hey, they need a switch and how I access stuff, it's only going to, be more and more on the streaming platforms. What I wonder is, do we get to a point in the NFL where you lose the ability to watch as much as we do on CBS and Fox on an NFL Sunday? We know locally you can watch on your local affiliate, but when do we start losing more and more of these noon games and you won't be able to just turn on CBS? That's the one thing the NFL has kept. Thank goodness. But are we going to get to a point where you're going to have to watch it on the Paramount app, or you're going to have to watch it on whatever Fox's app is? Is it just called Fox? I don't know.
Yeah, because they know you will. That's where the NFL's at. Other sports is going to be a struggle at times because a lot of time it's out of sight, out of mind. When it comes to other sports, just doing the streaming stuff, people are like, I don't need to watch it. It's like when sporting did the Apple TV and stuff. There's probably a lot of people who are just like, I'm not going to mess with that. I mean, honestly, not going to mess with that. But the NFL, will they get to that point? Probably so. It is still good that the NFL will show the home market on an over-the-air station so people can still watch it. But cable is changing the way that they do things as well. A lot of cable is actually a streaming app now as well, like to get the cable TV.
Well, ESPN is launching that separate app.
Their whole deal, their whole apps. But it is a pain. I'll be honest with you. Cable's easy because you can flip between the games.
Right.
Even though
it is an app.
Even though it is an app to most extent now with the cable, it's not the traditional cable like you had in other sense. It's your cable company, but it's an app for it. And now, I'll give Spectrum for an example. When you get Spectrum, you can get Peacock for free and get a lot of the apps for free. If you're a cable subscriber to Spectrum or whatever, you get all these other apps free. And I think that is a big change that some of these companies are going to do, is be able to offer these things so people can get them to buy their service, which I think is a pretty genius thing.
Yeah, I think where people, were misled, I guess, was many, many years ago when things started to shift. Everybody's like, this is cheaper. I don't need pick your, Time Warner or whatever, right? Like back in the day when it was Time Warner, people were like, I don't need that. I don't want to pay $180 a month. I can just go get this app. And that was the case for a little bit. And then as we know, as everything is shifted to streaming, you're paying $9.99 here, $17.99 here,
look at Amazon, $139 or
$12.99. Yeah, at least with Amazon, I'm getting a bunch of different
things. At least
things.
you're getting deliveries and stuff free, but
no, but I don't have
cost.
Yeah, but like Amazon's not just a streaming platform. I'm getting Amazon Prime, sure, but Amazon Video, but I'm also getting everything else that comes with it.
If people want to watch Thursday Night Football and they don't subscribe to Amazon, now they probably do.
I don't compare Amazon, though, to paying $14.99 a month for Peacock, I guess, is all I'm saying. But anyway, long story short, so the dollar amount thing, though, Bink, is where I think a lot of people were frustrated because they thought it was going to be a cheaper option. And now you go and you bundle it all together and you look and you're like, wait a second, I'm paying just as much. And that is where a lot of people are saying, well, then what was the whole point of all of this? And here we are. With the TV rights, if you want to watch as many sporting events that a lot of people want to watch, that's where the money is still made in television, live sports and advertisement. Not, nobody's like we were 15 years ago waiting on a Wednesday night to watch a sitcom. You can watch that on the streaming app later that night or the next day or the whole season right then and there. It used to be a big deal. Like, Wednesday at 8:00. Pick your favorite show was on. The only thing you feel like you have to be in front of your TV for is a live sporting event. You'll miss it. You'll find out what happened and everything if you don't watch it then. So that's where the money is at. But I think the apps have frustrated people in that regard. But it's one of those deals where like they're not going backwards. This is the future. It's really the present, I guess, at this point in time.
It's the future, but it is going backwards. Back when everybody could just watch whatever they wanted to, flipping the channels. But we've actually gone backwards because now you need all these different apps to watch all the games and consume them. College football is really challenging when it comes to this. I'm sure Drew's running this too, where if you're on the apps, first of all, there's a little delay with it. So,
Yeah, the delay thing, eventually if everybody's on streaming, the delay, nobody will know any different.
But still, though, hopping in and out of these different apps to go to different games, whereas the easiness of just flipping the channels to different games, it's almost like you need a dedicated TV just for, ESPN Plus or whatever, and then flip on your other channels because it can be a real problem with college football.
The good thing about YouTube TV, though, which is what I have, is they have the 4-box, and for the most part, I've got all the games that I want to watch in one,
But you can pick which ones to do it. It's not where they set it, or is it?
This will be the first upcoming season where I think they let you have more flexibility with customizing. But
because before you couldn't customize.
Yeah, last year there was one instance I remember where, like the Missouri game, I'd be able to watch the Missouri game and it'd be boxed with 2 other games that I wanted to see. But then the 4th one was a no-name game and KU was on ESPN2. And it's like, I want to put the KU, I can watch the KU game, but I can't watch it with this combination of other games. Like I couldn't watch the Mizzou and KU game at the same time, which was kind of frustrating. So I think now if we'll be able to customize that, it'll be fine. But for the most part, I'm covered, thankfully, with the 4-box setup.
Depending on your internet provider, the one thing that I wonder if we'll see go away or will continue, we talk about all the apps, but if you pick your cell phone service, there's a couple of them that offer an app included. So I'm not saying that your cell phone bill is cheap or whatever, but like for me, I have T-Mobile, right? I get MLB TV for the whole year. That's X amount of value. I also get Netflix. So I'm not paying for Netflix because I'm already, quote unquote, paying for it through my T-Mobile. If you have
can it transfer to your TV too? Or?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. And if I have a certain internet provider, I get HBO, whatever it's called, Max. I guess I went back to HBO now or whatever, but I get Max or whatever it is called these days. I get that included in my thing. So there's 4 apps potentially that I'm not paying. That's the only way I can think where you could save yourself some money is some of these, Verizon, I think, has a deal with 1 or 2 of the apps too. You quote unquote aren't paying for it, even if it's built into your bill. But that's just interesting for the first time ever, man. Streaming, more people watching on streaming than linear TV.
It's amazing where we've come from because I remember the cord cutters. Back in the first days, 610, people were talking about cutting the cord. They're tired of it. They're going to cut the cord and everything.
That's what I'm saying.
And then we sit here, like you're saying, it becomes just as expensive.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Cash Out, bro. You guys have been maybe following this. If you've been listening to the show, we've talked about this with this kid right out of college, 5-leg parlay a year ago for the Dodgers, for the Eagles, for the Liberty to win their championships. He was down to 2 legs, $13 bet to win $270,000. He needs the Thunder to win the NBA Finals, and he needed the Oilers to win the Stanley Cup. That did not happen. The Panthers won last night in dominating fashion, And so the Panthers have won back-to-back Stanley Cups. So the $270,000 bet did not hit. He missed a parlay just like anybody else has missed a parlay. And we were saying, you're an idiot for not cashing out, right? Because he could have cashed out for $123,000. Then yesterday, before the game started...
He can't even get his car now, Drew.
Before the game started yesterday, New York Post had an article. And for the first time in this whole saga, all of a sudden, he said, I hedged, guys. Which means the alerts are going off right now for me at this point, because now I'm skeptical about the entire thing. So he hedged, which was a smart decision if he actually did. But how come we didn't hear about this until the day he was about to lose his entire bet? So that means they intentionally did Bleacher Report, did DraftKings, did somebody intentionally say, hey, don't tell anybody you're hedging? Because the New York Post did this story the day of. He said, quote, I've hedged more than $50,000, which leaves his ceiling just shy of $210,000. Now, that would have been if the Panthers would not have won. Quote, I definitely emptied my bank accounts. I'm very lucky to have a good support system. My dad is an actuary. He's a math guy. He knows what he's doing here. We put together a plan we thought is secure that will give us a good outcome. He's definitely been very helpful with the funds here as well. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I have over $50,000 to splash. So he went to his dad, and his dad hedged with him for $50,000. Which is nice to just be able to go and ask your parents for $50,000. Very nice to have that flexibility.
It's an actuary.
Very nice. DraftKings and Bleacher Report put out a tweet this morning laying out how much money he is still going to get. Now, there's a couple of things, but this is why I'm skeptical. If he hedged $50,000, the hedge, though, was that the Panthers would win and that the Thunder would win. The Thunder haven't won yet. So if this kid, if it backfires, and let's say the Pacers come all the way back and win the city, then he owes his dad $50,000? Is that what we? I want to see the. All I'm saying is I want to see the ticket.
Smart dad.
Where's the ticket on the hedge? I'm calling BS on the entire thing at this point in time.
And he's unless the Thunder win the series, he's losing money regardless. Because let's say the Pacers win tomorrow night.
Yeah.
You're like, well, we need to cash out. I want to cash out. You're losing money already on that alone. I think now Cody, I think, was spot on with this in his assumption.
He said it was a rich kid.
Yeah, I agree to that. I think Cody was spot on with this. And now is the fact that his dad is in on it too. It's not even that, my dad, he basically said my dad and I calculated the numbers to see what was a good bet or what made sense. And
hedging is smart. Hedging is smart. It's just he didn't say anything until he was about to lose the bet.
Yeah, you should have done it before the fact. You might have been able to win more.
Nobody would have been calling you an idiot the entire time. Now, my guess is he wanted it for clout, and that was part of the whole deal. He got attention because it seemed like he was. But that explains why he was so confident the whole time. It's easy to sit out there and be like, we're in this all the way till the end when you already had hedged $50,000, dude. So the whole thing was a little more misleading. Now, here's what he said about the situation before the game last night.
I've been saying it from the beginning, probably never cashing out. I hedged a decent amount of money.
Never said that before.
My payout a little bit. There's no point in cashing out. I'm here to ride. I want to see it to the end. I want to cash that ticket. Let's go oil, baby.
So if the Thunder win the finals, I think the DraftKings claims he's getting $70,000. I'm still. He's got to pay the $50,000 back to his dad. Then there's taxes. Whoever else helped him get the loan or whatever to do this. He's not ever getting the $123,000 that he could have had. So it still was a dumb decision. He's not a complete moron because he's at least going to get some money now. But
he's going to get $100,000 less than what he could have.
Yeah. Someone says he allegedly has a bet for both outcomes. Again, the math doesn't math though. Someone said, he can get $73,000 if the hedge works. I don't think the math works out. Even if you're hedging $50,000, tell me how he's going to win $73,000 if he hedged both outcomes. I don't buy it.
When both were,
I haven't seen the ticket.
When both now are a game away from winning the finals, is that actually?
When did he hedge? Yeah, did he hedge before the series started? Because if he hedged a week ago, well, then you were not getting the numbers. The math doesn't math. So
they were up in the series. Yeah,
I don't believe he's getting as much as he says, but I'm glad he's getting something. But the whole thing, it
makes it entirely more complicated as well with the whole hedging thing.
Sure.
Just because now you have to calculate numbers, you're involving your parents on this and all this. You could have ended this a week and a half ago.
Right, but he wanted the clout. He wanted the attention.
More money.
Here's the thing. In about 2 weeks, nobody's going to remember this kid's name or know who the hell he is. But I am glad for his sake, though. He's not going to leave empty-handed. It's nice that his dad had, $50,000 lying around,
must be nice.
or friends that would help him.
His fiduciary dad.
That's right. So that's kind of the conclusion for the most part of this story. Cash out, bro. It's over. He lost a parlay just like everybody else would. At the end of the day, that's what happened. He lost a parlay,
like Drew did last night.
Yeah. I did. I had a Royals and Cags home run bet together.
I didn't actually bet it, but my Royals bet failed again, unfortunately.
You're
I might be dead last.
cold.
I might be dead last out of everybody here at the
I
station.
think Bink and I are close with Verns.
At the top.
You guys, and then I don't know if Dusty's cooled off or not, but I know Dusty was off
he
to a
was there
hot
at
start.
one point. Yeah, I don't know where he's at.
It's
now.
Royals pitching that's doing it for me, not the hitting.
I'll have to ask Vern before Vern comes before Vern joins. I'll have to ask him.
Yeah, we'll talk to Vern at 12:30. We'll talk more about night one of this road trip yesterday against the Rangers, and it seems so simple when Bobby and Salvador Perez are both hitting.
Bobby get on base, double, score, boom.
Yeah, so we'll get to that in just a bit. But let's get to the trash of the day.
Trash of the day.
I gave you this as an option yesterday, and you guys said you wanted the toilet that blew up instead.
That was a good story.
This takes us to Blue Ash, Ohio. Ash, Bink. I said Blue Ash, Ohio.
Oh, you didn't say ass?
Blue Ash, Ohio. There was a car accident. Fortunately, everybody's all right. How did it happen? A cicada attack is blamed for a car crash. There's video of the car on its side. Apparently what happened, somebody was driving, and a cicada got in the vehicle, and the person freaked out. Cicada flying around. They freaked out, probably turned the wheel too aggressively, overcorrected, and the car ended up on its side. A single vehicle accident. Quote from the police department, "We're all well aware that these pesky cicadas don't respect personal space, including while driving. As you can see, a cicada attack can be dangerous. The crash caused that vehicle to flip over onto its passenger side. No one was injured. The department joked that the cicada suspect fled the scene." Get it, Bink?
Or flew the scene, as they say.
Or rather, flew from the scene. Blue Ash Police Department suggests drivers keep the windows up for the next several weeks as cicadas swarm Ohio.
Car.
Or just, it sucks the bugs in the car, but don't, if you need to pull over, go pull over,
Yeah, I think it's hard. It's hard to not have that reaction, to just instinctually, get out of my face, and your hand's on the wheel, and you accidentally just flip the car.
Anything ever got into your car to cause a distraction?
There's been bugs in my, not in my face, but there's been a bee that's gotten into my car, and you're kind of paying attention, let me see if I can get this thing out,
Yeah. I've had that problem.
Yeah, if
I've had a bee.
If it sounds like there's going to be a lot of them, like an infestation of cicadas, keep the windows up.
Have you've ever had cicadas in your car,
No,
stuff like that, just a bee,
Hornet, yeah.
just a hornet? Yeah, I don't know. I've had wasp in my car before.
Really?
That's a problem.
I was stung 17 times one time.
What?
Yeah.
By a bee?
By a nest.
What were you doing?
The car was in the back of a truck. I was a kid. Just the back of a truck at the lake that hadn't driven for a while, but 17 times.
So it's like a spider coming down
So
on
I'm not allergic.
Spider web in front of your face while you're driving. Scary. Yeah, what would you do if a spider just started slowly coming down while you're driving right in front of you? You pull over to handle it?
Have to, yeah.
Or would you just right there just swat it? Then the spider ends up alive somewhere else in the car.
Yeah.
But then the spider's on the ground in the car.
It's not your problem then.
Well, yeah, it is. It's still in your car.
Well, you can take care of it later.
But that's even worse. Then you don't know where. The worst thing is you see a spider, it goes away, and then you don't. Then you see the spider,
Then
you
you can't find it again. Yeah.
go kill the spider right now. Someone said they found a garter snake in their car.
Nice.
While driving.
Jeez.
At least it was a garter snake.
I don't care.
Could've been worse.
Snake in
Correct.
your car.
Rattlesnake
Could've
would
been
have
a
been
lot
much
worse.
worse.
Oh, if there was, I will admit, as much as I'm making fun of this person with a cicada, if there was a snake on the floorboard of my car while I'm driving, and I look down and I can feel it wrapping around my legs. I don't care how small this. Dude, I'd probably wreck in my car. I'm probably wrecking the car.
Like this guy.
I probably am wrecking the car. Especially, you're telling me you're just gonna while you're slamming on the brake or you're trying you're doing something dumb. You don't even know what you're doing. You're turning the wheel. That would be awful.
Does your dog behave in the car?
She'll just sleep. Yeah, she loves being in the car. For a while, she'll stick her head out the window, but eventually, I've gone on plenty of road trips with her, when I've moved, and most of the drive she'll just curl up in a ball and sleep in the car.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well-behaved dog.
Yeah, she likes the car and all that. Someone says Blue Ash, Ohio is basically the Overland Park of Cincy. Oh, so it's a nice little suburb of Cincinnati. Drew, you should have known this. You should have known Blue Ash.
Right.
Someone said they had a turkey fly. We had a turkey fly their driver's windshield and start flopping around on the floor.
Through the windshield, I guess is what
they must have mistyped. Yeah.
I remember when a bat got in the press box at a Royals game. It went right for Vern, man. The bat went straight for Vern. Vern headed right underneath the desk, but this bat was loose in the press box. I'm not kidding you. He was after Vern.
One of the top takes from the 75. I found some roaches in my car, marijuana roaches, so it was cool.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
There you go. Someone else has had a rattlesnake in a feed truck, jumped out, and let the truck run off into a field.
That's the one where if you know what's like, if it's a gardener snake, then I guess
rattlesnake, you got to go. I mean,
yes, you're
no
out.
choice.
He jumped out, let the truck go. Now he had a field there, so you just let it run its course. Someone's had friend was on a motorcycle, had a deer running beside him, had to push it away.
Wow,
that's intense.
That's crazy.
The deer was keeping up with the motorcycle. I don't know how fast deer can before. So someone's going to text in and say, "How do you know that? How do you not know that deer can?" Yeah, I'm waiting for that text. How did you not know a deer can keep up with a motorcycle? I had no idea. That's the trash of the day, Bink. The
Blue Ash, Ohio.
Now we know. Sounds like it's a nice.
Looked like a nice car.
I think it was just a regular sedan. It was no Mercedes E-Class, right?
Yeah,
Drew?
it was a regular old Malibu, Bink. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm. Up next, we'll get to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Something that Bink has coined about people that complain about Patrick Mahomes and what tells us about the next 8 to 10 years of Mahomes' career. And Bink and I definitely disagree on what the Chiefs do not need to go out and do in a signing, that is. That's next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Say hello to Wendy's new 2-for-4 Biggie Bundle. Choose from the JBC made with fresh, never frozen beef, crispy chicken sandwich, 6-piece nugs, or small soft drink. Any two for just $4. It's like the reunion special you've been waiting for, but the only drama is watching you try to pick just two. For a deal as fresh as the meal, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's. Request 2 for $4 Biggie Bundles to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S. allowance.
0% financing is back at Reiselman Nissan. That's right, 0% APR for 60 months on brand new Rogues and Pathfinders. Or choose 1.9% for 72 months. Even 84 months at just 3.49% APR. Looking for power? Get up to $6,000 in total rebates on new Frontiers. And don't miss 1.9% APR for 60 months on the bold and stylish Murano. These are some of the lowest rates we've seen all year, and inventory's moving fast. Visit Reiselman.com for full details. Reiselman Nissan. Every customer, every time.
I'm McCall with Lisa Mitsuber, and our hotline is open. Annie from Kansas City, what's on your mind?
I want a dealership that I can trust for a lifetime. Is that you?
We're Google's highest review rated and only locally owned Subaru retailer in Kansas City. That's a good start.
I just want a great deal. That's all.
How about every vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty?
What about guarantees?
A lifetime warranty should handle that. Fall in love with driving again at Lisa Mitsubaru.
Hi, folks. Bob at Blue Springs Ford. Blayton, you look like you have something to say.
I do. It's our free lifetime powertrain warranty. That includes 24-hour, 7 days a week, every day of the year for 10 years, roadside assistance.
Well, that was a mouthful.
We're talking towing, fuel, oil, water delivery to you, lockout assistance, battery service, flat tire support, emergency assistance.
Folks, if you don't come see us today,
then you'll miss out on our free lifetime warranty.
Men, summertime is here, and that means vacations, summer barbecues, outdoor parties, camping, beaches, and so much more. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're like many men, you may not be feeling like yourself this summer. Perhaps your energy is low and you aren't sleeping well. Maybe your workouts aren't as good as they used to be. And if what I'm describing is you, it's very likely you're suffering with low testosterone. But low T doesn't have to affect you anymore. Just call Heartland Men's Health, get treated, and see how it changes your life. If you're like most men, you'll feel so much better. Deeper sleep, improved vitality and clarity, greater strength and energy, and an enhanced sex drive as well. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Honey, in case you can't tell from the recliner, summer is here, and our house desperately needs the experts at Powell Exteriors KC for siding, windows, entry doors, beautiful decks, patio covers, roofs, and more. Get ready for the heat at powellkc.com.
Say goodbye to dealerships and private sale tire kickers when you sell your car to GiveMeTheVin.com. Now we're even better with the GiveMeTheVin.com Big Cash Giveaway. Win $25,000 in cash every month. Sell us your car to increase your odds of winning. No purchase necessary. For official rules, go to GiveMeTheVin.com.
In a world parched for excitement, one drink will emerge. Twisted Tea, the refreshing thrill ride of flavor. Recreating its classic role as the hard iced tea that goes down smooth. Twisted Tea doesn't just taste like real iced tea, it's made with real brewed tea and a 5% kick of alcohol. Taste the adventure with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour is brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Drew Nixon producing the show, Jay Binkley in for Cody today. And for the next couple of shows, Cody is down in Dallas. He is dance dad. He is dance dad duty.
He's dancing
for the next week or so. Something we'll talk about during What's Trending. I just saw, real quick before we get to the Chiefs, some potential big news in Major League Baseball. This comes from Sportico, so more on the business side of things. But the Tampa Bay Rays, according to Sportico, are in advanced talks to sell the club to a group led by Jacksonville home builder Patrick Zapluski. I don't know. Parties have signed a letter of intent. The price roughly $1.7 billion. That is according to Sportico. So that's significant. Now, on one hand, you say, oh, they're just moving to Jacksonville. Just because it's a Jacksonville home builder doesn't mean that he would move him to Jacksonville. It means that you'd obviously move him out of Tampa. But that's significant news. A letter of intent has been signed according to this report purchase agreement. The deal ultimately may not be completed, but there's at least an LOI when it comes to the Tampa Bay Rays potentially selling the team. Remember, Rob Manfred had been pressuring him to sell the team. The Rays declined comment in this piece from what I can read here. We all know about the Tropicana Field, the roof. That's why they're playing at the spring training facility of the New York Yankees all summer, all this entire baseball season. But yeah, it makes you wonder about.
And they were going to spend significant amount to fix that, which is a terrible place.
Makes
to play
you wonder
anyway.
about would they move the team to Jacksonville, to Nashville, to Montreal, to Portland? Yeah, any of these potential cities that have come up. But we'll see if any new information continues from that. But that's some breaking news potentially there. The MLB been pressuring them for a while, and now Sportico says the Rays are in advanced talks for a $1.7 billion sale to a Florida home builder.
The
in
Clearwater Stadium would have been good for them. It just hasn't worked out for them. I know it goes to their games. I will say this, though. People are watching it on TV. Like, their TV contract's actually much better than the Royals, which is hard to believe because people are watching those games on TV, and all those transplants there go watch when the Yankees come. No, it's more the visiting fans that come in that stadium. They just never cultivated that fan base.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, a lot of retirees from other parts of the country. They go down there, and they're not diehard Rays fans. We've seen multiple playoff games where they've had, and remember on those day wild card games where it's been empty at the
Which is insane because you think about the state of Florida and pro sports down there. 4 of the last 6 Stanley Cups have been won in the state of Florida, with the Panthers and the Lightning winning twice in Tampa. That's the crazy part about it.
Yeah, so something to follow. It's not going to, I don't think, happen today, but what could that mean for potentially, some shifting of where we see the Tampa Bay Rays play in the future?
I've been to that dome. That is the biggest piece of crap ever.
Yeah, well, they're not even playing there anymore.
I know, but it's terrible.
All right, let's talk some Chiefs football, though, Bink. You coined a new phrase earlier in the show, and I guess you're sticking with it, huh?
Yeah, armchair Karens.
Okay.
There's plenty of them. See them all the time. You saw a lot of them yesterday.
Did I?
The Royals and thoughts on the Royals, and they're going to lose every game, and they're never going to win. Sal Perez is done. He's armchair Karens.
Okay.
We see them a lot. We see them a lot when it comes to Mahomes and the Chiefs. Oh, the Chiefs are done. They're cooked. Chargers are going to win the division.
You were doing some digging, though, on numbers, because naturally Bink will pull up random spreadsheets in the bullpen, and you'll be like, what are you looking up? And it's some compilation.
Playing solitaire.
Yeah. It's some compilation of different stats. And one thing caught your attention is where Patrick Mahomes is. He's entering year 9 in the league. He's not 30 yet. He will be very, very soon.
This season.
And we all know what he's accomplished to this point in time. But what are the next 8-9 years going to look like? Because Steve Young, as you did some digging, built his entire Hall of Fame career really off of what he did in his 30s.
He was. And you think about how good Drew Brees put up seasons in his 30s. Aaron Rodgers racking up MVPs in his late 30s. I mean, it does happen. Tom Brady was actually better after 40. So, yes, you haven't even come close to seeing the best of Mahomes. And I see a lot of people, writing him off. The best of Mahomes is there at the beginning when he was lighting it up, and you look at his stats, and everybody's kind of writing him off to these things. And I keep hearing this, and I told you yesterday, it drives me nuts because nobody brings up the 7 straight AFC title games. Like, no one brings that up. No one brings up the fact they've won 9 straight divisions. When they talk about Mahomes, his best days behind him, his best days haven't even got here yet, believe it or not. In my opinion, I think his 30s will be the prime for Patrick. Well, not that he hasn't been great before, but there's no reason he can't be great.
Do you think he'll win as many rings as he has in his 30s as he won in his 20s?
He very easily could.
So you
brought up Steve Young. Steve Young built his basically because he was in the USFL and all that and was behind Montana. But in the 30s is when he built his whole Hall of Fame career. And you think about where Mahomes is. And when people throw these things out there, I don't think they look at the numbers. And I think sometimes he gets minimized for what he's been able to accomplish in the game of football, to be honest with you. I guarantee you, if I went around, you could do this around the office or whatever. Just go around and say, what quarterback has the second most postseason wins ever? Because clearly, number one, you're going to say Tom Brady. It's an easy one to go. Because Tom Brady he's won 35 postseason games. That's an incredible number. But everybody's going to get that one. But when I say who's won the second most postgame in NFL history, a guy that's not even 30 years old is second all time in postseason NFL wins. I wonder how often you'd hear Mahomes. Now, in this town, people maybe throw that out there just to be throwing it out there, but in other cities, not saying it. But Patrick Mahomes passed Joe Montana last year. Joe Montana has 16 postseason wins. Patrick Mahomes has 17. Peyton Manning, just 14 Steve Young, 14. The great Terry Bradshaw, just 14 postseason wins. But Mahomes already sitting here with 17, and he's not even 30 years old, which is a stat that people will not bring up when they're talking about Mahomes, when they talk about regression, and he's not putting up the numbers like he did in 18 and 19. They'll bring it up. But, man, find me another quarterback under 30 years old with 17 postseason wins, all-time number 2. That's insane.
No, it is. I think the question over the next 8 to 10 years, we talk about his 30s, is going to be how long into the 30s is Andy Reid still as head coach? Can he get halfway? We got another 5 years, 6 years of Andy? Is another 3? I don't know the answer to that. Nobody does other than Andy Reid.
He's in his mid-60s, so
right.
I mean, we see Pete Carroll coaching at, 72 years old?
Right, and Mike Florio has been trying to get Andy Reid to retire years ago. So I have no idea how much longer Andy's going to coach. I tend to think it's at least 3 to 5 years at minimum still with Andy. And so, okay, that gets you to 34, 35 years old if you're Patrick Mahomes. Kelsey's, of course, going to phase out here after this year, we think. Chris Jones maybe has another 3 years, 2 years, depending on how you believe his performance is going to be. So that'll be the question. Could you have in 5 years in the back end of his career, different coach, you're going to have new star players to go along. I think Trent McDuffie will be a face of this a long time as well. But that will be the biggest question. Steve Young in his 30s, think about what he had at that point.
Put it this way, he didn't have over 3,000 yards passing in a season until he was 31. 31. Dude's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Patrick Mahomes, the ring part of it, that's such a bit of a crapshoot. If you're saying he's going to have the exact same number of rings, I think statistically he can put up massive numbers still into his 30s. Is he going to have another 3 rings? I mean, there's so many things that go into that.
Funny. It's just like I mentioned that lady that was on the radio that talked about liking Josh Allen better than Mahomes and put it these things.
Out of Detroit.
But still, Allen's 0 for 4 against Mahomes in the postseason. And then you hear all this big debate, Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. And now you hear, is it Burrows or Herbert? Who's the new guy? Is it still Patrick Mahomes? That's why I was surprised when I did see him on a list as number 1 player in the NFL, because everybody's talking about these other quarterbacks. Oh, Mahomes is, it's past his time. Let's go on to somebody else now. New flavor of the week. It's Lamar Jackson's the king in the NFL now, or Joe Burrow or Josh Allen, all these guys. And yet here we're talking about a guy that's not even 30 years old with the second most wins all time in the postseason. That gets left out and forgotten.
Very upset with you on the text line.
For what?
Very upset for your new term you coined.
What? Armchair Karens?
Very upset with you.
Oh, a Karen's mad about Armchair Karens? Is someone named Karen?
Yes.
If your name was Karen, would you change it? If you're a woman?
Probably. I don't know.
Would you? You like Kay or something?
I don't know, Pink.
No, your name is your name. I mean, you can obviously change your name if you want to, but why would I wouldn't change it?
Well, he's mad because he says his mom's name is Karen. Don't disparage your name like that. It's not just me. The word Karen has been disparaged everywhere, not just me. You've never heard the term Karen? Don't be a Karen? Like right now, you're being a Karen. Just saying. But armchair Karens. You've never used the word Karen?
No.
Oh, come on.
No. If somebody is mad at somebody, they're just.
Have you Gold? See, they're being
sure
such
I have.
I have never, to my knowledge, I don't think I've ever called somebody a Karen.
Don't be a Karen, man.
No.
Like the neighborhood Karen or something like that.
No.
Come on, man.
No.
All right.
I hear people talking about that all the time.
Yeah, but I don't look. I don't know why.
People get mad about. They got mad about the booty call comment. They get mad about the Karen. They get mad about everything that I say, which is nothing. People just want to complain about everything. That's right there, Alex. Touch it. No. Don't do that.
913-586-7965. The Jays Southland Sosa is text line. You can text in whatever you want within reason to Bing
so
directly.
I was just always so hammered. I don't remember anybody else drinking.
You done?
By the way, dogs don't sweat, Bing.
I know they don't sweat. I never said they sweated. I said sometimes I heard
you missed it from yesterday. All right. So you and I differ on the potential options in free agency for the Chiefs. You still think they need to go sign somebody? The NFL have their top 100 NFL free agents of 2025, and you said they need to go. You told me earlier that they need to go and sign Keenan Allen, and I said absolutely not. Well, number one, not really interested in Keenan Allen at this point. Number two, To me, the wide receiver room is the wide receiver room. I actually feel pretty good about the Chiefs wide receiver room heading into 2025.
And you did last year too.
Sure. And they got
life happens.
Sure. But who do you
there's three
who
top
do you want to
names
take out?
there.
Who do you want to take out of the wide receiver room and sign for
Obviously,
Keenan? And
look
don't tell me the number 6 receiver, because you and I both know Keenan Allen's not signing anywhere to be the number 6 wide receiver.
No, but is he serviceable? He is getting older. I get that. But the one thing about it is, as a slot receiver, it's raining outside. You know, just all of a sudden start raining. That's weird. But anyway, it is. It's pouring.
Yeah, like ADHD over here.
No, when I look at you, I just look at the window. It's raining.
It is raining, yes.
But anyway.
The cookout's outside.
But Keenan Allen, here's the deal. It beats you. I just looking at the top receivers available. Obviously, Amari Cooper.
They're all over the place.
Amari Cooper's the top on that. Gabe Davis out there. Keenan Allen. I'm just saying, where would I put him? I'd put him behind Royals and all that, but
he's not signing anywhere to be a number 5 receiver. That's
but
the other
he's
problem.
getting to this point where he's going to have to understand that's going to be his role.
Well, he's obviously not.
That's going to be his role is where he's at. I'm just saying, I'm not saying sign him or whatever, but if you wanted to kick the tires on a guy like that that's still sitting out there, that's been a thorn, that always catches the football, and you could put him in the slot.
I don't want to sign a 33-year-old wide receiver to join my team for the first time.
Instead of a Juju or something like that, I mean, Keenan might be more productive.
Yeah,
I've always liked him.
Yeah, he's had a very nice career, but he's 33 years old now.
I get that, man. That's why I think he'd accept the role of just being a guy
last year
for injury.
in Chicago, he had 70 catches for 744 yards for a terrible offense. He was behind DJ Moore. He had a rookie in Rome Odunze who was disappointing in his rookie season, and so he's now a free agent. Somebody will eventually sign
If they
Keenan
didn't
Allen.
have Hollywood or Juju, then I think it makes sense.
Exactly.
I think it makes sense.
At that point, but they do have those guys.
As far as the top receivers left on the list, that's the one I'd go with.
Look, if you told me in training camp, we're in the second week of training camp, and knock on wood, but Worthy, Rice, or Brown, one of them go down with a serious injury, then we can have a conversation, right? Then I think it's fair. That's all he's probably waiting for. He's waiting for somebody to get hurt.
What he's waiting for. He's going to be a training camp signing.
It's got to be that a key injury happens. But as it is currently constructed, you look at what we think is the projected depth chart at wide receiver for the Chiefs. They don't need to bring in Keenan Allen.
I'm just saying, in case of emergency, I would just look at the list, like who's still out there, who would be tangible that you could bring in that would understand the offense.
You agree it would have to be an injury to bring him in?
100%.
Okay, all right. I thought 100%. You were trying to say you got to bring him in now.
As far as the list is concerned, like who I'd actually, kick the tires on would be somebody like that with his experience. Obviously, the age is a problem, but you're not expecting big things, huge things from him. Just catch the football, be a big body.
That makes more sense. If you're saying just in case an injury happens, I can get 100%. On board with that. I can get on board with that. Yeah, that's a whole different conversation. I'm with you. I hear you.
To me, that's kind of like a Juju move. And who do you like better? I mean, it comes down to that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, Juju they clearly like as a blocker in the wide receiver game too. I know that's not why people think you're not signing a wide receiver strictly for that, but that is a big asset that they like out of Juju Smith-Schuster and his ability to block as a wide receiver for what they want to get done. That's a huge part of it.
I get that, but honestly, would you take Keenan Allen?
If we find out in August 15th that Rashee Rice is suspended 6 games, I don't think that's going to happen, by the way. But if we find out, then okay, again, same thing. I would argue the Chiefs probably would not bring in somebody for that. They would say we feel good about Worthy, Brown, and Juju and Royals. They would probably say we're just going to roll with it. But you could talk me into that. I also, right now, as we've discussed plenty of times, I don't believe that Rashee Rice is getting anywhere near a 6-game suspension anymore.
I'm just thinking about, durable, reliable guy that catches everything. You can throw in the slot and not have to worry about anything. That'd be a guy that just plays deep on your depth chart. Honestly, at 33 years old, he's going to have to understand that's his role. I mean, guys do have to understand what they are in the NFL at some point. Like Kirk Cousins, he's going to have to understand he's going to be a backup somewhere.
I know this is, there's always exceptions to the rule. In general, if I was a GM, if that player has not already been with my organization, I have no interest in going out and signing in free agency a 33-year-old wide receiver. Like last year, DeAndre Hopkins trading for him, and how old was he? 32. That's an exception. Like you would argue,
but
you and I both agree that
against the Chiefs, I mean, he understands this team.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that Keenan Allen played against the Chiefs doesn't mean anything.
It's better than not having any experience with this team. Like DeAndre, I mean, you could say Keenan had a lot more experience against the Chiefs.
Keenan Allen as a wide receiver going up against the Chiefs, how does that have anything to do with playing wide receiver for the Chiefs, though?
I'm not saying get anywhere near Rice and Worthy and Royals and these guys. Give them the shot first. I'm just saying you stash him.
Yeah, I don't want anybody getting in the way, though, of. But I understand you're saying he's
not the future.
He's not signing to be on. Keenan Allen's not signing anywhere to be be a wide receiver that's not active on game days all season long. He's just not going to sign.
Have an experienced guy like that that wants to win.
I guess that's all we're like. I think people are like getting confused with what we're trying to get across. Keenan Allen, is he better than their 6th wide receiver? No kidding. But he's not signing to be your 6th receiver. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know that, though. I don't know that he's
not signed with anybody right now.
That's why he's still out there.
You said he had 700 yards last year. He's not signing to be a number 6. He wants to be
At
a
that
number
age,
2.
He knows he's not a 1 or 2. He knows that.
He wants to be a 2 or 3. I bet.
We'll
I think
see
the
what
lowest
ends
he'd
up
go is a
happening.
third.
If you're asking the question, and if it was as simple as, hey, my 6th receiver is either Tyquan Thornton or Keenan Allen, obviously I would choose Keenan Allen, but that's just not the reality of the situation.
Is the Carolina Panthers. He'd be a great fit for
like
the
Adam
Carolina.
Thielen.
Not an expensive option.
He'd be a great
I
fit
would agree
with
with
the Carolina
that.
Panthers.
Yeah, and he'd be their number 3 wide receiver probably there, right? Who else they got? They got Leggett and oh my gosh, they drafted
Thielen, and then whoever else.
Yeah, they drafted somebody, didn't they?
Tedero McMillan.
There you go. Ted,
Who actually, and by the way, Keenan Allen would be a good mentor for. I mean, talk about like same size, playmaking ability.
I think he should be a good mentor to have around.
Yeah.
If willing to have that kind of role. If willing.
Yeah.
That is the key.
He'll sign somewhere. He's not going to.
You're right about that.
He'll sign
where's his
somewhere.
mindset at?
Yeah, and I don't know.
Does he overvalue himself?
Yeah, Keenan Allen, we all know the injury. Now, he played in 15 games last year, but 33 years old with the injury history. I'm so out on exploring that, man. 15 games last year, 13 the year before, 10 the year before that. And
he's had some injury issues, no question.
Yeah. Very nice career.
So's Juju.
Very nice career. 12-year career. Nobody's saying he hasn't been a nice player. 11,000 yards, 50 or 60-something 66 touchdowns in his career. Like,
he's
been a very good player, but there's a reason why he is still unsigned on June 18th. And I think some of those reasons are the very thing we just brought up.
But just saying, look at the list. He's still sitting out there. He'd be cheap.
Yes, he would. He would be cheap for a reason. Yes, that is true.
Productive, but
mandatory minicamp.
You would take those numbers,
but he's not going to get the. No.
Hey, he wouldn't. I get that.
Not going to have 700
you take 500
because
from him.
He's going to get Bank. Yes, but he's not going to be in that role though. This is where it's like the stats don't tell the story.
Red zone, damn good target. Just saying.
He's not going to get on the field to get the numbers, but.
I love the fact that the A16 is backing me up on this, but I disagree. I know I'm behind Keenan Allen and his torn ACL or Achilles 3 times, but I'd rather put Drew in the slot. No, you wouldn't. I promise. I promise you wouldn't. You'd rather have Keenan Allen there, minus the ACL or Achilles.
I agree.
I appreciate the confidence, though. I mean, that's very. I thank you for that. I mean, look, if we're talking about other wide receivers in terms of what they do, like they could have signed Hunter Renfrow a month ago. I don't think they're not making any other moves, Bink, unless, like Gold said, somebody gets hurt.
I know. I'm just saying. I've looked at the list. You look at the list. Top 100 who's still out there is free agents. You start glancing at those things. All right, who's still out there in case somebody gets hurt or goes down? Who's still out there? Who would be an option that you would bring in? That'd be it.
Coming up at 1:00 today, by the way, we're going to hear from Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. So that's expected. I know we had some issues connecting yesterday, but is it?
Been in France.
I don't know if I was missing some announcement. Okay, yeah, he was in France for the
Elijah
Amazon
Mitchell
thing.
today too.
Elijah Mitchell is not talking. Actually, there's an update. Leo Chanel is talking instead.
We'll just be carrying Mahomes and Kelce.
Jalen Watson.
Watson
Island.
Be carrying Mahomes and Kelce at 1:00 today.
You know Jalen Watson?
We'll just be carrying
If Jalen
Mahomes.
Watson says he's better than Trent McDuffie and he deserves to be number one
We'll
corner,
make sure
then we'll make sure that we play it.
Thank you. Yeah, Mahomes and Kelce. And Kelce, I saw the video. For all the talk about him being slimmed down, he's definitely slimmed down.
If Jalen Watson says, they brought in Fulton and they drafted this dude, but I'm the number 2 corner in this team point blank period, then we'll play it.
Some Washington State love, man.
Yes, that is true. That's your squad.
You do like Wazoo. You like
he likes it because of Mike Leach.
Like Kyle Williams,
No, it was Leach.
Yeah, that was a guy that you obviously were a big fan of.
I like Leach.
So we'll hear from a couple players in the 1:00 hour
Gardner Minshew
today. Now. Yeah, Minshew. When we're at training camp, I wouldn't mind. Normally, I wouldn't want the backup quarterback, but he's entertaining. When we're up at training camp, Gardner Minshew on the show would be fun.
Gardner's awesome. They actually really like his abilities. Instead of these, bringing the Blaine Gabberts and things like that, they like having Gardner around. They're in a pretty good spot at the backup quarterback position. I know they haven't been in before, but I think this is a better option we've seen backing up in a long time.
I would agree with that. Yeah, you never want to have, but I would agree with that.
But
I think we've seen in Mahomes' tenure, the backup quarterback has come into play a couple times.
You big Carson Wentz guy?
No real opinion on Carson Wentz. Fine.
He had his chance. It did not go so well.
Wow, that game. You're talking about the Denver game in Week 18.
I know.
Very obvious. They had the most vanilla game plan. They had no intention to win that football game. We all know that. Drew was very upset about it, but they had no intention to win that game.
They didn't want to make. They wanted to make sure the Bengals didn't make the playoffs.
Oh gosh,
that's what they wanted to do.
They were already at 15 wins at that point. It's like, hey, who cares?
Yeah,
You've already won the division by 4 games. Yeah, who cares?
Oh, I have no problem with how they handled Week 18.
None.
Other people around the league got all upset. Bengals fans thought they were important.
When their team's all set, too.
Right.
Like Josh Allen, by the way, he played one play to keep his streak alive. They were playing the Patriots. He played one play. Yet Bills fans were all up in arms about the Chiefs resting on their players, even though they did the exact same thing. Well, Josh Allen played one play. Come on.
Oh, players do that to keep streaks alive all the time.
They do it, but I mean, all these teams, the Rams rested everybody too, but everybody thought the Chiefs were the big head Chiefs resting on their players when everybody else did that needed to. If they needed to win, they didn't clearly.
That's the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Up next, though, we're going to get to what's trending, and we're going to get back into the Royals, who got at least one game on this road trip taken care of. Can that build forward on the road trip for them? It's sometimes that simple. We saw it play out last night. Plus, Josh Vernier is going to join us as we get to the noon hour here on 96.5 The Fan.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Ring the bell. We've done it again. Golden Oak Lending has lowered rates to 4.875 fixed. Lower your monthly payment, get cash out, pay off credit cards, and best of all, make no mortgage payments for 2 months. Lock in this incredible 4.875 rate and get your cash in as little as 14 days. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
5.81 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
I know you've been looking at your backyard trying to figure out what to do. Get your dream deck over at All Weather Decks. The right deck at the right price. Honestly, they give you a free estimate, and lumber prices might go up this summer. Why not lock in that price now to make sure that you're covered? Covered decks, wood decks, composite decks, they'll give you a free estimate at All Weather Decks and help you build that brand new dream deck. Check out the reviews, the showroom. You can see so much of their work online at allweatherdecks.net and see for yourself the absolute quality of deck you can have thanks to them. Schedule your free estimate today at allweatherdecks.net or give them a call, 913-206-1974.
Jefferson's has a brand new happy hour designed to save you money. Enjoy half off appetizers and half off your bar tab. 7 days a week at Jefferson's Lenexa and Jefferson's North Kansas City. Yeah, you heard that right. Half off your bar tab during happy hour at both locations. And it gets even better. Mondays are all day happy hour. Plus, they've got reverse happy hour every night. Whether you're catching the game or just kicking back with family and friends, Jefferson's in Lenexa and North Kansas City is the place to be. Proudly local and always delicious. Jefferson's. Wings, burgers, oysters.
Exercising and being outside are two things I love doing almost every day. I can't imagine joint pain slowing me down. The good news is, if you do have joint pain, I've got the answer for you. QC Kinetics has over 50,000 satisfied patients in less than a decade, and everyone is getting results with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime at all. QC Kinetics has been on the cutting edge of regenerative medicine. They use natural treatments that harness your body's own healing power. Regenerative medicine used to be an alternative, and now it's mainstream. So if you love being outside and working out as much as I do, or you just love to play golf or tennis or doing everyday activities, and you don't want to live with that joint pain any longer, call my friends over at QC Kinetics. Don't let sore knees or elbows or shoulders or a back keep you from doing the things you love. Call QC Kinetics today, 816-412-6299, 816-412-6299. Off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. It's QC Kinetics.
Hi there, I'm Charlie. And I'm Carter. Our dad is Rex with Rex Buys KC. If you're thinking about selling a home in Kansas City and don't know where to start,
our dad can help.
Sometimes life throws curveballs, like moving for a new job, dealing with a divorce, or inheriting a house you weren't expecting.
Dad doesn't just make offers, he talks with people to help them understand all of their options. No pressure, and it doesn't cost anything to talk with his team.
He's a local home buyer who really knows Kansas City. If selling to him is the right choice, he'll give you a fair cash offer, and you can close on your timeline even in as little as 7 days.
He buys homes in any condition. No need for repairs, no fees, no surprises.
Just an honest, easy process so you feel good about your decision.
Want to talk to him? Call 816-330-6000 or go to rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. With thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust us to bring happiness home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Guys, are you looking for a Father's Day gift that will give Dad the extra boost of health and energy he needs to live his best life? The Low T Center is offering free weight loss consultations and free T-test as a special offer celebrating dads. Treatment is personalized to you and most major insurance is accepted. And with the freedom to choose in-care center or at-home treatment, you're helping put Dad back in control of his health. From now until the 21st, enjoy a free B12 shot when you stop in for TRT and weight loss. Offer limited. Book now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When you think home insurance, you think boring and complex, right? Wrong. Allstate is now changing the game with our new and improved home insurance. And it all starts with a simplified shopping experience. Our latest online quoting tool gives you confidence in not only knowing you have the right protection, but our lowest price too. So check Allstate first for home insurance that's better than ever. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings and prices vary. Coverage subject to terms, qualifications, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
This is the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Royals baseball. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station. What's trending?
What's trending is presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Applied today at bakeru.edu. The Royals took game one of their series against the Rangers last night. We're going to talk more about that. It was very simple. Salvador Perez and Bobby Wood Jr. stepped up, led this offense. Seth Lugo also was awesome. I believe he had a season high in strikeouts, 9 strikeouts, maybe even a career high in strikeouts, I think, actually. It was awesome to see. Kind of just a nice, relaxed win. Much needed. Snaps the 6-game losing streak. Gets them back to 3 under 500. Sets them up to potentially win a series, even with the win tonight. Obviously, they got 2 more against the Rangers. Chris Bubich on the bump, going up against Patrick Corbin, who was awful for the Nationals a year ago. but has actually been pretty decent for the Rangers. 7:05 first pitch. Vern's on deck show at 6 o'clock here on 96.5 The Fan. We will talk to Josh Vernier here in about 30 minutes about last night, about some of the comments from J.J. Piccolo, and where this franchise is headed. But nice to see last night from the Royals.
So it is. When you're sitting there with the Royals, you get that first game under your belt against the Rangers. Then you have Chris Bubich. It's unbelievable this year. That 1.92 ERA, Gold, you and I both know that should be different, right? He did strike out Chisholm there instead of giving him the fourth strike. And then it becomes different. That game becomes much different. Having Chris Bubich on the mound now, then Michael Wacha in the finale against the Rangers is perfect. Royals did everything they need to do. Just get off the bat. Get those runs in. Don't sit there and think about things. You got to move runners around. You got to get on the board. But boom, Bobby Witt Jr. double scores right then. I mean, it was perfect for the Kansas City Royals. And what they did, going against a pitcher that didn't give home runs, only 6 all year. Royals had 3 on him last night and should have been a 4th with a guy that Vinny Pasquantino that would have been out in 22 ballparks, 413 feet. Speaking of Florida sports, the Florida Panthers, the Chiefs on ice, win the Stanley Cup last night. Back-to-back years. Of course, they lost the year before that, so they did reverse of the Kansas City Chiefs. But regardless, our 4 major sports, and 2 of those teams have gone to 3 straight championships. Congratulations to the Panthers.
I didn't know when you said Chiefs on ice. I didn't know they already did a Hallmark movie. I didn't know if there was some
Chiefs
play where they're going to have Casey Wolf on ice and they were going to have somebody looking like Patrick Mahomes at T-Mobile Center on ice. I wasn't sure if it was a money-making endeavor or something.
But 31 straight years now, a team that calls home in the United States has won the Stanley Cup. That's insane.
It is kind of crazy.
3 decades.
But there's also
hardly
26 like 26 American teams versus,
But still, they haven't. 31 years.
Yeah.
They had their chance twice now, back-to-back with the Oilers.
Elsewhere on what's trending, the Tampa Bay Rays are in advanced talks to sell their club to a group led by a Jacksonville home builder. Parties have signed a letter of intent. The price roughly $1.7 billion. That according to Sportico. So an LOI has been signed. We'll see if it actually comes together, but that would be significant news. MLB owners and Rob Manfred has pressured the owners of the Rays to do this very thing. What does that mean if they actually complete the deal? Is the team staying in Tampa? Is it going to Jacksonville? Is it going to Portland, Nashville, Montreal? Everything would be on the table at that point in time. I don't think they would be staying in Tampa.
Becomes a free agent team at that point where they can move. Jacksonville, maybe an option, but
a baseball team in Jacksonville.
I see Nashville and Salt Lake City, and these teams really ponying up, or Charlotte trying to get professional baseball there. But it was a weird deal with the hurricane. It wiped out the roof of the Trop where they play. So playing in that AAA ballpark now, or the single A ballpark for the Yankees, Steinbrenner Field. Yeah, the Steinbrenner Field. Actually, their A-ball team plays there, and I think they're playing next door in some rented stands and everything they have on the outside. But the Rays were going to fix that up. They have renderings for a new ballpark. They wouldn't wanted that, even though they looked great. And they were going to fix that roof. That's going to cost some money. There was talk about that member splitting the season, half in Tampa and half in Montreal, which I think would have been a disaster.
Right.
But could the Rays be on the move? Probably so. 100%. Conference commissioners, by the way, have decided to start over on determining the 2026 college football playoff format. Because this year, once again, we do have the 12 teams. The Big Ten and SEC initially wanted 4 automatic qualifiers each, with 2 each to ACC and Big 12. However, ACC and Big 12 pushed back. SEC coaches later publicly did not support the 4 automatic qualifier model, instead preferring a 5, then an AQ plus 11 at-large format for a 16-team playoff, as did the ACC and Big 12. We all knew it was going to get to 16 teams. Just a thought that was put out there about having a 14 team and then get the 16 team. Just go straight to it, man. Just go straight to it.
They're even talking now that if they can't figure out anything, they might just push it back to 27 and go straight seed 12 team next year as well.
Yeah, that would suck if that is actually what happens. But
there's a lot of 6 months to figure it out.
Agreed between the Big Ten and the SEC.
At least it is where it is now, because Ohio State wouldn't have even made the old playoff format.
That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold with you. Drew Nixon producing the show. Jay Binkley is in for Cody. It is the lunch hour. Thanks to our friends over at Jefferson's, our Wednesday lunch partner here on Cody and Gold. They got a brand new happy hour you want to check out. It's also going to save you some money. 7 days a week. Enjoy half off appetizers, half off your bar tab at Jefferson's Lenexa, or up north, Jefferson's North KC. That's half off your bar tab at both locations during their happy hour. Not to mention Mondays, that's all day happy hour. And they have those same great deals during their reverse happy hour 7 days a week. So make sure to go to Jefferson's Lenexa or Jefferson's North KC. Jefferson's Wings, Burgers, Oysters. We will talk to Josh Vernier in about 20 minutes.
I've actually done that, by the way, that happy hour at Jefferson's. Very good. Oh, yeah. Great stuff.
Yeah, man. We've talked about Jefferson's wings. We love those wings. I love the corn nuggets as well. We've had that up in studio a few times as well. And we appreciate their support of the show. And obviously, if you're looking for lunch today or if you're just looking for something to grab to eat tonight, great opportunity to take advantage of their brand new happy hour, whether you're up north or in Lenexa. We'll talk to Vern here in about 15, 20 minutes or so about the Royals. But we mentioned in what's trending, look, the losing streak is snapped. That's always a good thing, obviously. But last night, it was what you've needed all year. And if they were to get this offense ever going, and if you think they're going to get this thing turned around, last night was the prime example of it. How many times last year did we see a game which Salvador Perez and Bobby Wood Jr. were leading the offense, and they got great pitching from Seth Lugo? I mean, last night, that was what happened all last year. We haven't seen it very often. Lugo was awesome, but most importantly, Bobby Wood Jr., who had been a little cold, he was awesome last night. Had the double to get it started immediately. That set the tone. Salvador Perez with a multi-home run game. He now passed George Brett for most multi-home run games in Royals history. He passed the Hall of Famer. That's awesome for Salvador Perez. That seems so simple, doesn't it? That combination, you get those two going and everything else handles itself. It really does. And if you get those two guys going, it takes pressure off of Caglione and others. Cags obviously is struggling right now, but you get him going because he doesn't feel the pressure to have to be the savior. If you get the guys in front of him in the order going, obviously he's going to see some better pitches as well. So it all has a trickle-down effect. This team was never going to be about Kyle Isbell leading the offense. It was never going to be about Hunter Renfroe when he was with the team leading the offense. It was always going to be Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and he's been great over the last month and a half. But Vinny, Salvi, Bobby, and India. Those were always going to be the answers, and then you hope Cags would supplement that on top of it, and hopefully that happens. It's one game. I'm not acting like everything's solved. But last night is the formula. We've all known it. It was nice to see it play out at least for one night, and hopefully it can get some confidence going for the rest of the road trip.
100% get Bobby on base and get him in. Have that front part of your lineup, as solid as it was last night. That's all you've really wanted from the Royals. And to get this win, huge, because this is a tough stretch going through the All-Star break. We know that. We get to Major League Baseball at this point. There's some very good teams on the schedule for the Royals. But to get this out of the way, then have Chris Bubich on the mound. It's fifth in all of baseball in ERA tonight, and then followed by Michael Wacha. Just a perfect situation for the Royals. I think I tweeted out last night on X. It was great to see your big dogs do something for the Royals. It was met, with the typical sarcastic response. Well, they're not really big dogs. In Kansas City, they are.
They're the big dogs of this offense.
This is the future Hall of Famer and the guy that finished second in the MVP last year. Those are, call them big dogs or not, in Kansas City, those are big dogs. They're the ones they have to rely on.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would be disputing that at all. I mean, it's very clear that the guys that have to carry this offense are the names we've all known, and two of them did last night. Bobby Wood Jr. and Salvador Perez. How many games this year have you actually seen where you've got 2 or 3 players all hitting in one game? We haven't seen it very often. Like it truly sounds so freaking simple. Get me Bobby hitting and Salvi, or Bobby and Vinny, or Vinny and Salvi, and your run production is going to go up drastically. And it was nice also just to see the long ball, because we know even the power numbers and home runs or whatever, that's last year wasn't even their best thing. They just hit with runners in scoring position. But last night, especially because the home runs just haven't been there, that was nice to see in that ballpark.
Especially a pitcher that doesn't give them up.
And Vinny probably would have had one in about 95% of ballparks.
22 parks, they said.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah.
So in Lugo, I don't know if you noticed or not, but Lugo called kind of a timeout there. And he wanted Brian Sweeney, the pitching coach, coming out, but he wanted all the infielders to come in.
I saw that.
India took Indy a lot of what his pace was, but he wasn't there good. But I thought that was interesting. He's sitting there talking to the players. Now, I thought that was good for Lugo. It was fun.
Well, Seth was awesome last night. Yeah, he was great. And, yesterday we were talking, obviously, with J.J. Piccolo about the rumor and that one report that they flat out shot down and said was a flat out lie and everything. But if they were to get in a position where they don't turn this thing around 3 weeks from now, Seth Lugo pitching like that's why you would be willing, in my opinion, to make a move. But the team's not in that position where they need to be thinking sell yet. I know a lot of people want them to, but there's no reason to make that decision right now. It's one night. Let's see what happens tonight. Can they carry it over? Because as great as last night was, if they lose tonight 5-0 or 5-1, nobody's going to care what happened last night anymore. They're going to say, okay, see, it wasn't the start of anything. Was last night the start of something? We're going to find out. Can they carry that over? We'll talk more about it with Josh Vernier here in 18 minutes or so.
And I know there's been some games that you look at with the pitching staff and think, yeah, are they taking a step back or not? I know that Reagan's is hurt right now and everything, but this pitching staff is still one of the best in baseball. That's the thing about it. Have they been as great as they were early on? No, but guess what? They're still fifth in ERA in all of baseball, American League or National League. And only 2 teams in the American League have a better ERA than the Royals. I mean, so saying they slipped or taken a step back, really? Have they really taken a step back? Because I don't think they have. And Lugo just added to that last night.
Chris Bubich gets the nod tonight for the Royals. You obviously know he's going to give you a chance to win. Hopefully the offense is backing him up tonight as well. Real quick, I want to mention there a little bit of NFL news, Bink, just in the last couple of minutes. We had mentioned a week or so ago that the Packers had cut Jair Alexander, corner that at one point in time was considered one of the better corners in the league, just has had some injury history.
Don't tell me Ravens, because Lamar Jackson wanted him.
That's where he signed, yeah.
Oh, you got to be kidding
Adam
me.
Schefter reporting just a minute.
You got to be kidding me, because he wanted him.
Yeah, this impacts the Chiefs. Obviously, the Ravens, one of their contenders in the AFC. According to Adam Schefter, former Packers corner,
it's that Louisville connection.
Jair Alexander signed a 1-year, $6 million deal with the Ravens. He turned down more money elsewhere to be in Baltimore. He obviously wants to be on a contender there.
Well, he went to Louisville. Same thing with Lamar. And I remember Lamar's press conference yesterday, they mentioned Jair right then because it just happened. Then Lamar's like, bring him in, man, bring him in. Got his way. Got his Cardinal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good signing for the Ravens. I mean, there's some upside there. You bring him in to help your secondary. That is such a Ravens signing. If Jair Alexander would have been one of the first places you would have guessed. He's going to a contender in the AFC. We know the way that franchise over the last 15 years has been built. Yes, you got Lamar now, but defense usually lead with that. That defense for them was not acceptable by their standards in Baltimore. Remember, that was the huge issue. Their defense stunk last year compared to what Baltimore has been. And Alexander is not the same player he was a couple of years ago, but on that deal. And again, they got him for cheaper than what some other teams were offering. Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to shift the entire AFC race. No, but that's a significant signing. I actually think that'll help them.
Yeah, and he's going to fit right in because, again, Lamar and he played together at Louisville. They were both in the 2018 draft. Both of them were first-round picks. Jair actually went a lot higher than Lamar did. So you see what they think about their quarterback there, going out and getting exactly who he wanted. Hey, I look at the Ravens and know their defense isn't the way it used to be, and they've been on this big, vengeance tour and everything else, but I don't know, man. I still look at these teams in the AFC. This was a very good move for them. Do I consider them better than Buffalo and Cincinnati and all these teams? Yeah, I still do. I still think that's the team to watch out for. That's the team for the Chiefs in the AFC is the Ravens.
I was looking at odds the other day, and so the Ravens are favorites in that division, as they should be. But it was surprising to see that the Ravens, while they're a better football team than a team I'm about to mention, I was surprised given how tough the AFC North is. The Ravens are bigger favorites to win the North than the Texans are to win the AFC South. Someone's got to explain that one to me. I understand the Ravens are a better football team. They have Lamar Jackson.
I think Stroud's 100%.
They have Derrick Henry. And I know people are questioning Stroud because of how they finished the season and they revamped their offensive line. This is not a Ravens versus Texans comparison. I'm just saying, I look at the AFC South. I would still take the Texans to win the South at those odds better than the Ravens, who are bigger favorites when they have to deal with a team like Cincinnati in their division. Pittsburgh, make all the jokes we want, but they can beat you, right? Yeah. Especially with maybe better quarterback play. We'll see this year than what they've gotten in the past. Cleveland, heck, even still can beat you for a game or two and surprise you. Just the nature of the AFC North. So I was just surprised when I looked at the standings.
It's what they needed, though, Baltimore, because they did finish second to last in yards per game against passing last year. Only the Jags were worse than them, so they had to get better at that. I like the move.
Thinking of other teams in the AFC, whether or not your front office and your players are on the same page, the Buffalo Bills, one of the top contenders in the AFC. We all know that. Josh Allen, we saw it play out in the AFC title game, uses the tush push. So he's an advocate for it. Now, you could argue if they didn't use the tush push against the Chiefs, they might have actually had more success, but that's a whole different conversation. Sean McDermott has, over the last 12 months, come out and basically said he doesn't like the tush push. He thinks it should be banned. They were a team that was on that. We know the tush push has not been banned, at least for another year. I think next year will get banned, next offseason that is. But it's interesting to see you have a player, and Josh Allen yesterday speaking about how much he wants to keep it, but then the front office and your coaching staff doesn't. You would think your star quarterback, if he thinks it's something, you would think you'd be on the same page.
That's a weapon. I'm surprised McDermott just won't keep it, to be honest with you. I'm surprised the Bills were one of the 22 of the 32 teams that voted to ban it. I'm shocked in that, but if McDermott says, no, we don't need to do this anymore, don't need to put my quarterback in harm's way, Allen's like the perfect quarterback for this too, so I'm surprised they kind of had that stance, to be honest with you. It's something that could work very well for Buffalo, but to see Allen then saying go out and stop it. Well, the Chiefs did stop it, but to see your quarterback and organization two different ways on this thing is very interesting because I could never see like Mahomes going against what the Chiefs or Andy Reid wanted. Like I can't see if they were really, staunch in the one thing or the other and Mahomes wanted the opposite. That just wouldn't happen here. It was a very interesting development in Buffalo. But they should use it. I mean, Josh Allen's like the perfect quarterback for this. Obviously, it didn't work against the Chiefs, but obviously Jalen Hurts is like perfect. I mean, that's the perfect guy for it.
Yeah, nobody's better. Nobody's
but
Josh
Josh Allen's just right there too.
Yeah, nobody's better at doing that than the Eagles. And we've talked a ton about the tush push stuff this offseason. I think next March they will vote on it again, and eventually it's going to get banned. It's something that Roger Goodell once banned. They will ban it. But it's just surprising to see a franchise have a player advocating for it, and then the coach and the front office saying, no, we actually don't think it's a good thing for us. When the player believes.
Not exactly on the same page.
I would also say, though, longevity for Josh Allen's career, this is always a debate about him, and one of his biggest assets is his physicality, his ability to run with the football. But when he's 33 years old, is he still going to be able to do that? Is his body going to hold up? He's a bigger guy than Hurts in terms of overall. Like Hurts' lower body is stronger, but Josh Allen's a much bigger dude than Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson, as we know. So maybe his body will hold up. But that would be my only thing where I would understand the organization. Do you want to protect Josh Allen to be your quarterback for another decade? Maybe he can't run as much in the future.
I think that's what McDermott and the front office was thinking, especially the front office. They're thinking what they're paying him. They're building that new stadium. Won't be open this year, but will be the next. Actually, it's not going to be finished for the season, is it? Buffalo Bills' new stadium? I don't think
not this year.
I think it's got one more year to go.
Someone says Kelsey said he wanted to stay after Chiefs voted to ban it. Which Kelsey? You're talking about Jason Kelsey? He doesn't play for the Chiefs. And also, there's a difference. One's a quarterback. One's a center. Or even if you think it's
Jason made the comment, I think, when he was there presenting.
Yeah, but he's not the quarterback. Though.
No, he's not. But he made a comment that he would have stayed if he could just run that play all the time. He would have done it. He made that comment there. I don't think that's true.
Someone's saying that because you said that they're not on the same page. They're trying to say the Chiefs voted to ban it, but Kelsey said he wanted it. I'm saying which Kelsey said they wanted it. I know Jason did. Did Travis Kelsey ever come out and say he wanted to keep it? And my point is, if he did, that's not the same.
On the podcast, and they probably were arguing about it or something.
It's not the same thing because one is a quarterback and one is a tight end.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Because he's actually doing it. They might have discussed it. I'm sure Jason brought it up plenty of times.
Someone says that Buffalo lost to Philly in the Super Bowl. The tush push would be banned. Are you convinced by that?
Well, they're going off at how they get both teams get the football because they lost to the Chiefs.
Right.
So they're crying about that. But Buffalo did get it changed. Chiefs couldn't get it changed. They could. Bad things happen to them. Now they're in the Hallmark movie. Now Josh Allen's married.
What's wrong with that?
I'm just saying, Buffalo, man. Everybody's all about Buffalo Bills.
This goes back to how we started the show, where you pointed out, and Drew's not wearing his wedding band today, which caught us all off guard. No quick trips, no wedding band. Something's changed in the last 48 hours for Drew. I don't know what's going on.
I didn't go to Quick Trip on Monday.
You didn't even bring the code red in. I was looking for it, but you didn't walk in with it. You walked in with a water bottle, and I was like, all right, he's going. And
you kept pressing Drew, asking, where's the ring? And Drew, because I think Dusty convinced him to, Drew just kept saying over and over, Cody doesn't wear his ring either. Which we've known that for a while. Yeah, and then finally Drew had enough. And Drew told you, because you just brought up marriage, so why are you anti-marriage so much? And Drew said, Bink You've lost 3 of your rings, which was an unbelievable moment. I wish we need to have that as a drop. We need to have that as a drop somewhere, please.
Not 3.
He said 3.
I'll go and I'll find it.
We have to have that as a drop. That was a mic drop moment. That was just a slap across the face is what that was. Right to you. And you just stood there.
More's coming from
you just took it. You just took it.
Well, I deserved it.
Wait till
probably.
Friday when it's just you two together.
I'm not saying I didn't deserve it, but it will come back.
Tomorrow or Friday? Not
it
tomorrow.
Will come back. Next week, it'll come back.
Also, Cody's not going to be Drew. That drop's going to get saved. That's going to get played when Cody comes back too. I think Drew might have started beef with Bink and Cody by that one comment alone.
So Cody doesn't even have one?
Someone says, who takes their wedding ring off, Drew? Are you going back to Twin Peaks? What's going on?
No.
That's a great question. Great text.
I didn't. I mistakenly did not wear it today. Cody just doesn't wear his. And that's nothing. Like, if that's a thing that he has, that he does.
But he's got kids and everything. He's in a dance contest and text. I mean, he can do whatever he wants at this point. But you should be wearing it. You should. I'm sure your wife would agree.
Did you text your wife like proactively and say, hey, by the way, forgot my ring?
No, I haven't. And she hasn't texted me either about it. So it's.
Why is your ring on the table, Drew? You haven't heard that yet?
No.
What if she forgot hers when she went to work? What would you say?
All right.
I'm just saying, what would you say if she didn't wear hers? You would like it, would you?
No, it wouldn't matter to me, Bank.
You wouldn't like it, would you, Drew?
It wouldn't matter to me.
It would matter to you.
All right. For the 816, happily married, they never wear theirs either.
People say it just gets uncomfortable, Bank.
Well, Kramer was going to tattoo it. And I was like,
that's how the conversation started. But people just want to know why you took it off to begin with.
I didn't take it because I.
No, you had to take it off.
Well, theoretically, yes.
It's just there. So it did physically come off your hand. Do you not shower with it? Or?
Shower normally is what if I'm wearing the gold one, then yes, I don't shower with it. If I'm wearing the silicone one, it doesn't matter. I do whatever.
You got multiple?
No, a lot of people have a silicone one as well. If they're like, especially if they work.
The silicone one came with the one that the other one. Yeah.
Do you drink beer in the shower?
I don't drink beer at all.
You get this for Friday. You can deal with this on Friday, Bank. Fan Club Friday. You got to bring him in.
He took his ring off. It's interesting. Maybe you should tattoo it like Kramer's.
Yeah, that was.
I thought about it.
I
did not.
We just told Kramer, do not get somebody's initials tattooed on your finger.
No, because you have to explain that on Hinge in a couple of years.
Oh, jeez.
You are rooting against people staying together for a long time.
I take bets on it.
No. The same thing came up when Rob got married. The same thing happened.
But I went, and it was a great time. Nice open bar, perfect situation. But just saying, Drew, nothing's forever, man.
Someone says they will lose their finger before they lose their ring. It never comes off their finger.
Wow.
They will wash their hands with it, shower with it, sleep with it.
Drew's comes right off.
Very easily.
It's probably Velcro.
Up next, we'll talk some Royals baseball. Josh Vernier, our Royals insider, will ask him about last night's game and some of the comments from J.J. Piccolo. That's coming up here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Tune in to hear Royals insider Josh Vernier every Wednesday at 12:30.
We need to nip this in the bud. We need to nip what in the bud?
On your home for Royals baseball, 96.5, The Fan.
0% financing is back at Reiselman Nissan. 0% APR for 5 full years on both Nissan Rogue and Pathfinder. Or choose 1.9% for 72 months or even 3.49% APR for 84 months. Bought your last car at 6, 7, even 8% interest, trade it in and drive off in a brand new Nissan and lower your monthly payment. Plus, get up to $6,000 in rebates on the rugged Nissan Frontier. And don't miss 1.9% APR for 60 months on the sleek and powerful Murano. No one in Kansas City has a better selection. Visit Reiselman.com for details. Reiselman Nissan. Every customer, every time.
Hello all, Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. It's springtime. Yay! This is when we start working in our yards. Be careful that your outside faucet didn't burst over the winter. Maybe you've discovered that it doesn't work very well. This month we are offering an outside faucet replacement special with access for only $3.99. So call Connolly Plumbing Solutions at 913-768-7676 or visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
Men, the summer is here. Longer days, warmer nights, and romance in the air. Intimate dinners, walks on the beach, dancing in the moonlight. But if you have erectile dysfunction, you know it can ruin romance, both for you and the one you love. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you have ED, don't let another summer go by without getting treated. Because intimacy is one of the greatest things in life, and fear of not being able to perform should not be something you have to deal with. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated tens of thousands of men. Our protocols work when others don't, and we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. You could even last up to an hour or more and perform like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies to same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the GPS directions first, before driving to the mall.
Turn right at the light. In 1,000 miles, you will reach Montreal.
Not Montreal, the mall.
Recalculating. 6,000 miles to Nepal.
No, the mall.
Checking first is smart.
Recalculating.
So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
This report is brought to you by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Proud partner of the Kansas City Royals. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories. And the best part, 0 bubbles. Grab it at the K or ask for it at your favorite bars and liquor stores.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Drew Nixon, Jay Binkley with you here in about a half hour. We are expected to hear from Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, day 2 of mandatory minicamp. We'll get to the random question of the day here in 15 minutes or so. Just a quick update on that whole Tampa Bay Rays Stadium thing. We mentioned during What's Trending that there was a report from Sportico that A group of investors led by a prominent Jacksonville area home builder are in advanced talks with the Rays to sell the club. To him, parties have signed a letter of intent priced roughly $1.7 billion. The Rays have since come out with a statement and said the Rays announced that the team has recently commenced exclusive discussions with that group of prominent Tampa Bay investors concerning a possible sale. The team, neither the Rays nor the group, will have further comment during the discussion. So sounds like that thing is going to happen at some point in the near future. Then we'll see where the Rays actually end up. But let's talk about the Kansas City Royals and a win last night to snap that 6-game losing streak. We welcome in our Royals insider, Josh Vernier. He's got his On Deck show tonight at 6 as the Royals get set to take on the Rangers. Vern, let me just ask you real quick. If the Rays were to be sold, do you think they're for sure out of Tampa?
I would like to think so. It's a good day to be John Sherman. If you're telling me the Rays are worth $1.7 billion, hey, Sherman, how about you go knock on J.J. Piccolo's door and tell him money is no object at the deadline? How about that?
I like that. You heard J.J. Piccolo yesterday talk with us on the show. What did you make of his comments when it comes to how right now they're approaching the deadline? I know you had said earlier in the week with Fesco and Dusty that you think that the green flag, so to speak, should be lowered to start the trade acquisitions, but it sounds like the team doesn't believe there's really trades to be made yet.
Yeah, and I believe what JJ's saying. I mean, you just look around the American League, and how many teams are you convinced are selling? And are we sure that Baltimore's selling their big pieces? Listen. I agree with it. Obviously, I agree with everything that JJ said. Sure, a lot of teams are still in it. Teams are reluctant to part with their pieces. I mean, shoot, all you need to do is look at the Detroit Tigers, right? Everyone wants to point to the Detroit Tigers and what they overcame and made it all the way to the ALDS. Keep in mind, the Tigers still sold a key piece out of their bullpen. They traded away Mark Canha. They traded away Jack Flaherty. So, listen, I understand that the options, the outfield options for this team to improve this lineup might not be aplenty, but you could overpay. You know, everyone has a price. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not even saying that they should overpay. But here's what I will say. The blame for this offense, which still 73 games into the season is the lowest scoring offense in franchise history, some of that blame is starting to leave the players and now making its way to ownership and the front office because, next Thursday's the midway point of the season. I'm fine banking on Salvy and Bobby and Vinny. We knew that this team was going to bank on those guys. But MJ and Renfroe and Massey, 73 games into the season, these guys should have about 25 home runs combined. Instead, they have 3. Someone needs to make an adjustment. Sitting around and waiting for Drew Waters and John Rave and even a Jonathan India to start running into more extra base power, I'm kind of done with that. So to me, it's now on ownership in the front office to address these issues with the bats up and down the lineup.
I'm with you. Honestly, we get a text a lot of times about, well, Rafael Devers got traded. That means there's moves to be made. Can you please explain why that's not a normal trade and that there's way more to that whole story than just the Boston Red Sox?
Yeah,
it's not a normal
ownership's
trade.
behind. Yeah. Ownership's like, listen, man, I flew out to Kansas City. If you remember when the Red Sox were here, that was right when Devers said, hey, I'm not playing third base. I know Alex Bregman went down, but you told me in spring training I'm a DH and a DH only. The owner, the billionaire owner of the Boston Red Sox, flew to Kauffman Stadium to meet with Devers, asking him, can you do this for us? We're giving you $300 million. We signed you to a 9-10-year deal. Can you try to take some ground balls at third base, at first base? And he said, yeah, we'll see. And then didn't. So ownership says, I want that guy out of here. Alex Cora, the manager, the front office, everyone knew that this is, as strange as it might sound, addition by subtraction for Boston. And San Francisco finally gets their star, right? They tried to get Shohei. They tried to get Aaron Judge. They tried to get Carlos Correa. No one ultimately took their deal. So they need to go out and get that big free agent splash via a trade. And Buster Posey making a very aggressive move. So, yeah, that was quite abnormal. 8 years still remaining on a deal. We've only seen a contract larger moved one time. And that was when the Marlins were selling everything off and traded Giancarlo Stanton to the Yankees. So, no, you're not going to see that very often. That's a once-in-a-decade kind of trade.
Vern, you've seen every pitch of this team this year. How refreshing was it? You know, Bobby Witt doing what he should do. He gets on second base with the double. He scores right away. Royals have a run. They just seemed like just a team possessed a little bit. Leiter's been very good with home runs. They've given up 6 all year, and the Royals tagged him for 3, which is crazy. But how refreshing was that for the Royals to actually, get out in front of teams?
Yeah, it was very similar to what we grooved to all summer last year, right? That was the 2024 Royals. All-star Seth Lugo and all-star Salvador Perez and all-star Bobby Witt Jr., but with the mix of 2025's Maikel Garcia, a guy that if he was around in 2024, I don't think Jonathan India's around in 2025. Yeah, that was a nice game yesterday, and Seth Lugo answered the bell. And tonight the pressure to me is on, well, maybe not the pressure, but the story tonight is Chris Bubic because of his consistency. I believe I can rely on him. Very nice job last night, Bobby, Salvie, Vinny, Maikel. Do it again. If you want your name in the marquee, if you want to be the story going into a Royals game, now the offense is always a story because of the worry, because of the concern, because of how bad they've been all year. But I need to see them perform like this, with big knocks, with runners in scoring position like we saw twice from Salvie last night. I need to see that over the course of this road trip. But to me, they're still the same team we've watched now for 73 games. Pitching, a little bit of defense, and then you just cross your fingers offensively. That was a nice start. Let's see if they can keep it up.
Yeah, I did bring up Bubic to JJ yesterday about, biggest surprises, because I think he's certainly the biggest surprise on this team this year. You can make an argument for Noah Cameron. But this pitching staff, they're still 5th in all of baseball. They're still 3rd in the American League in team ERA. And with Cole Reagans being hurt, with Chris Bubic coming on and being as crazy good as he's been this year, do you still view the pitching the same way you did maybe back in April?
No. They, prior to last night, this rotation was 1-6 in June with an ERA north of 5. They've come back down to earth somewhat, and then I think that's to be expected when you have Bubic and Cameron that burst onto the scene here, at least as starting pitchers burst onto the scene the way that they have so far in 2025. Regression was expected, especially when you factor in how good Michael Lorenzen was in April, the fact that Cole Reagans is no longer around. But to your point, the rotation must be great. If this team's going to make it to the postseason, it's 73 games into the season. I have no other thing to hang my hat on other than the rotation. You want to point to the bullpen. A bullpen's only as good as its rotation allows it to be. I hope that we can get to a point where we're relying on the offense, at least 1 through 6 in the lineup, but I'm not there yet. So what I saw last night from Seth Lugo is worthy of a brief celebration, but that's the expectation. That's how you got to October last year. That's why you lost in October last year, is because the starting pitching wasn't a strength against the Yankees. And starting pitching needs to lead you to October again, up until we get some sort of evidence that this offense isn't powerless and clutchless, which you just can't be both. And right now, for the better part of this season, the offense has been both. Worst in Major League Baseball in home runs, worst in Major League Baseball as far as OPS with runners in scoring position. So until one of those two things change, this rotation must be great. It must get back to where it was in April and May.
We're talking to Josh Vernier, his On Deck show tonight, 6 o'clock, as the Royals get set to take on the Rangers here on 96.5 The Fan. So with what you said about the offense and what has to change with them, do you believe this team gets back to 500?
Do I think they get back to 500?
Anytime this season, yeah.
Oh, boy, they better.
Yeah.
Boy, I would sure like to think so. I guess you kind of caught me off guard. Give me a 500 road trip. Then you got Tampa and the Dodgers. Woof. Boy. 4 in Seattle. Wow, that's a surprisingly fair question. Man, is this the fan in me? Is this a guy that wants to believe that they get back to 500? I'm going to put my faith in J.J. Piccolo, even more so than this rotation, because as we mentioned, it seems like you guys agree, it's now on him. It's now on ownership to address the issues that this team has up and down the lineup, to be quite honest. So there's nothing I've seen from ownership or this front office that lends me to believe that they're going to sit on their hands, that they're going to let this thing completely get away from them. So even though the green flag has already been dropped on the trade deadline, and I'm not saying they're going to make some sort of a big splash, but there is a way where you're not running John Rave and Drew Waters in the lineup every single night. It's not Canna, Lofton, Waters, Rave. They're all fine bench players, but they should be taking up maybe one spot in the lineup, not two every single night. That needs to be addressed, and I believe it will be. So long-winded answer, yes, I think they will get back to 500. How far above 500? Well, that's going to come down to the big bats in the middle. That's Bobby, that's Vinny, that's Lvie. If they can continue what we've seen, and if you look at the numbers that offensively they put up since Jack Caglione made his debut against the St. Louis Cardinals, they have been in above average offense. Not a crazy great offense, but their numbers, whether it's OPS, batting average, they are better than league average. So the offense is improving. But certainly not improving enough in the power department or the clutch department. And again, one of those two things have to happen.
How much pressure do you think exists in the front office, Vern? What do you think about pitching's the hardest thing to get in baseball, to bring it in? And this pitching staff has been so good, you almost don't want to waste it. You kind of, the sports windows, you got to push all in. You got to do what you can, because it's hard to say when the Royals pitching staff will be as good as it's been this year. Should there be more pressure there to, kind of cash in something this year when you have this kind of quality pitching?
See, I think there is a lot of pressure. Maybe because they're the Royals, and as you mentioned, we're going to hear from Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce coming up. Maybe because the Royals are still the little brother in Kansas City. We got Super Bowl aspiration, and that is undeniable. Hey, the Royals are giving us a good time, right? I think that's the thought process of a lot of Kansas City sports fans, and that's fine. But as someone that's in it every single day, there should be a ton of pressure on this Royals team to get to October. And I don't think it really has much to do with the pitching staff. Sure, it has something. To me, the decision to call up Jack Caglione as early as you did, and punting on an additional year of team control for a guy that you believe has prodigious power, and when you can swing it like that, you're looking at a 9-figure deal when you ultimately hit free agency. So that, to me, is why they can't retreat, in my opinion. You can't make a move as aggressive as calling up Cags when you did, only to wave the white flag a month and a half later. So there should be a ton of pressure. And I've said this before, Bink, I think there's a ton of pressure on ownership in the front office from now until the end of 2030, until they got that new stadium. When Bobby opts out, and again, the end of 2030, not only can Bobby and Will likely, he'll opt out. Doesn't mean he can't return, but if he's the player we believe he's going to be, he's going to opt out at the end of 2030. And then that's also the penultimate year of Jack Caglione's team control. So from now until then, I don't see how you take your foot off the gas pedal. Now, that doesn't mean you still can't move a guy like Seth Lugo. If you believe in Kyle Wright, if you believe that Rich Hill could actually add something and you can get something for Seth Lugo, I don't think it's necessarily cutting off your nose to spite your face. It could be a nice balance of trying to win now but also investing in the future, because Seth Lugo's gone at the end of this season. I don't see how he returns after you gave Michael Wacha that contract last offseason. So Seth Lugo, 3 months left in a Royals uniform. Do you let him walk for nothing? Do you keep him in this rotation as you make that push? Or can you do both?
Vern, do you find it disrespectful, this picture that they put up of you on the show here on the YouTube, this old picture of you? You're like smiling, you got hair and everything. Yeah. I'm looking at your picture here as I'm doing this interview, and I find this a bit disrespectful. Do you?
No. I don't find it disrespectful.
I don't like it.
You know what I find disrespectful? Can I tell you a quick story? So I'm at my booth doing the pregame show, and one of the terrific people that work at Kauffman Stadium, and I'm not going to out her, I don't want to embarrass her. But she comes up to me and she starts going on about how good I look. She's like, I remember you back in the day. You were up on that trailer out there in left field. Boy, you've lost a lot of weight. You look so good. I'm like, I haven't lost. I was smoking a lot of cigarettes back then, so I've actually. She thinks I'm you.
You've gained weight.
Bink. She thinks I'm you from when you did the Royals in the second half of 2018. She thinks I'm you. I'm bald. I got a beard. I've kind of let myself go a little bit. I'm turning into you, Binkley.
Oh, my. Vern.
So if anybody's watching on YouTube, that picture that you see, that person has turned into the other person you see on your screen.
This
That's
is the
how
person
things
I
have
started
gone for
working
me.
with in 2012. Was that guy.
Yeah, and look what you've done to me. You started throwing chewing tobacco and booze at me, and look at what I turned into.
And you didn't get married.
Last one, thinking of being married, we were giving Drew a hard time because he's not wearing his wedding ring today. Do you wear your wedding ring all the time? Or are you wearing it right now?
I'm not wearing it right now. I go to any point in which I think girls are going to be like, God bless it, that guy looks like Binkley. He's really good looking. I might make a run at him.
But you're not at work. You're not at work right now, Vern. You're not at work. Drew's at work. Drew's sitting here raising his arms like
sometimes
he's.
you forget. I don't know. To me,
a lot.
sometimes you forget you're in a rush. Or maybe Drew's stepping out. I don't know.
Hey, you never know.
No,
I was
he
thinking the same thing.
He delivered.
I was thinking the same thing.
He delivered a great line to Bink though earlier on in the show though when he said, "Bink, you've lost your ring 2 times at least."
It was real nice. It was classy.
It was great.
Oh, well done.
It's finger pointing.
Well
Something
I
the
don't
Royals
take any
don't
advice
do.
from Binkley.
All right, Vern.
Look what it did for me.
Appreciate it, man. We'll check in later on. We'll hear you tonight too.
All right,
See you,
sounds
Vern.
good. Thank you.
That's Josh Vernier, our Royals insider. His on deck show tonight, 6
He thought
o'clock.
he let himself go.
We were going to do the random question of the day, but the Chiefs are a little ahead of schedule. Bank Patrick Mahomes is actually speaking right now, so let's head out to minicamp.
Supposed to run. I thought he was going to do something. He thought he should do something else, and then we kind of were off the page. But that's what this is for. You try to learn those things, and if we get that rep in the game now, we know we're going to be on the same page. We talked it through and had that chance to do it on the practice field.
What are your expectations for Travis this year at 35?
Yeah, I expect Travis to be Travis, man. And obviously the play on the field is going to be high. He's going to go out there with the mentality that we're trying to win the Super Bowl this year because falling short this last year. But then I think more than anything, it's the leadership that he brings to the building every single day and how he leads by example and how he leads vocally. It's a big impact on our football team. And so I expect him to play at a high level and then be an even better leader.
Patrick, it's been a while now, but did you have any serious thoughts that Travis might really say this is it after the season? Or how engaged were you with him in that time when he was?
We never talked about it. I think you have that in the back of your mind. I mean, for anybody that's played a lot of football seasons, there's always a chance if they're going to come back and you have to put in the work. You have to put in the work in the off season. I think everybody wants to play the games, but putting in the work in the off seasons where stuff gets strenuous. And so for him, I think it was just recalibrating, seeing where he's at, and then I mean, from what I've seen, I think y'all can see it, man. He's ready to go. I mean, he's been putting in the work this off season, and he's excited for another chance to make a run at it.
You just figured give him space. I mean, you didn't want to.
No, I don't ever press guys and stuff like that, and I just thought I'd give him space and let him make that decision on his own because you don't want to have regret either way. I mean, if you come back, you don't want to come back and not give everything you have to it, and if you leave, you don't want to leave too soon. So it's a happy medium that you have to find. Hopefully, I don't have to find it for a long time, but that's something that every athlete has to deal with in whatever career they have.
The outside expectation is that the weapons will be healthy, protection should be better this year. When you hear something like that, what can the offense be if all that is true?
Yeah, I mean, I think all you can do is just be better than you were the day before. I mean, obviously, we have an expectation that we're going to go out there and score every single drive, but that comes with a lot of single reps, a lot of practice reps, a lot of time spent with the guys, and so it takes every single person in the building to go out there and have the top offense in the league, and so we have to just go into every practice, every film study, whatever that is, with that mindset that we're going to get the best out of it.
This is the first time in a while that you've come into this camp with your receivers having been here the year before a lot of them. Do you notice a difference this time of year with those guys that haven't played in this offense before?
For sure. I mean, I think you saw even at the beginning of last year before Rasheed got hurt. I mean, whenever you have a guy that you've spent that time with and had that connection with, you can hit the ground running because you know those different things. And so seeing that with Xavier this year and Hollywood and Rasheed and Juju and all these guys, man, I mean, they've done a great job of working and continue to work to get even better. And so you can talk about stuff that's happened in prior years, and that's where me and Travis have had so much success is when you get multiple years of reps with guys, you continue to get even better and better on the football field.
But Patrick, when you follow up on that, it seemed like a lifetime. But 3 years ago, you all were the top offense in the league. Just over the beginning of last year. Last 2 years, even though you won a Super Bowl and went back to the offensive dip, injuries, of course, played a factor in the last season. Would it be a disappointment to you with what you have and what you're seeing in practice right now that you all aren't back where you were 3 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. I mean, you want to be the top offense in the league when you step in the building every single day. But at the end of the day, you want to win the Super Bowl. And so for me, I wasn't as disappointed in not being the top offense as I was at losing the Super Bowl last year the way we lost it. And so our goal is to do whatever we can to win the football game. And hopefully for us, that's being the top offense to go along with the great defense that we have.
The rookies that are on the team now, what have you seen since they've been here and them ascertaining the playbook and getting the reps in with you all? Where would you put them at right now?
Yeah, no, I think it's kind of cool to see. I don't know if it's like an NIL thing or guys staying in college longer, but it's a very mature group. It's guys that come in and they know how to work, they know how to get after it, but they're learning quickly. And so to hear them talk and to hear them do different things, I don't know if they've transferred or whatever it is. They've been in different offenses, but they have a good understanding of football. And so now it's about teaching them how to work to the standard that Coach Reed has. And for any rookie, that's going to be a challenge, but I thought these guys have done a great job of picking up on it.
But picking up a playbook like a Josh Simmons and
Josh is doing a great job, man, and he's getting healthier and healthier every single day, and he's doing a great job of learning. I mean, he's getting the ultimate test going against Spags and seeing the blitzes that he's going to see, and so he'll continue to get more and more reps, but he's doing a great job with the whole process, and I'm excited for him to get even healthier going into training camp.
We saw the ring boxes out there. Are those this year kind of a painful reminder of the way the season ended, or a symbol of what the team accomplished getting to the Super Bowl?
A little bit of both. I mean, I appreciate it because I know at the end of my career I'll look back and remember those times with that team. But obviously the ultimate goal is a Super Bowl ring, and so you have a little bit of you appreciate it because you know what you did with that team, but it's a reminder for you to go out there and be even better. I put it this way: I put those like in my safe, and I put the other ones on top of my safe. I keep both, but some of them I showcase a little bit more.
What does the next month look for you? I know you probably take some personal time, but how do you stay in tune football-wise over the next month or so?
Yeah, it's a lot of working out. This is like when Bobby gets excited because he knows I'm going to be in the gym working out. And so it's a lot of working out, throwing with some of the guys that will be in town, and then spending some time with my family just because knowing that I'll be in football season and miss a lot of that time. So there'll be a lot of parks and water parks and stuff like that to go along with a lot of football workouts.
You always wish it was a little more time because it seems like it's shortening and shortening.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how it works, man. It just seems like the off season gets shorter and shorter every single year, but that's part of the process, man. I think Coach Reed's done a great job of kind of pulling back a little bit in some of these OTA type days just to kind of keep guys' legs under them. But I think it's like 4 weeks. I'll spend as much time with my family, try to stay in shape as best as possible, and be ready to go whenever we step on that football field in St. Joe.
A couple more. How many times have you watched Super Bowl? And I guess what did you learn?
I haven't watched it too many times. I mean, we did some like film study and you do scheme stuff, but you watch it after the game and you see it in the scheme and stuff like that. You take away the positives, but obviously you got to learn from the negatives. Obviously, the Philadelphia's defense had stuff on us with Coach Fangio that they did a great job of taking away our best stuff, and so learn from that, have stuff to counteract that, and be ready to go this next season.
Let's go last one, Nick.
Patrick, with whether it's Jalen or Josh, how do you work on building that chemistry with them since you guys have been on the field together?
Yeah, it takes reps, man. I mean, I think Coach Haig does a great job of kind of putting guys in different spots, getting JT back as well. I mean, you got guys bouncing around from right tackle to left tackle to go along with those 3 or 4 guys in the middle there. And so it's just going to take more and more reps of learning what they do. They learn me, but that's why we get those long drive drills in training camp. You learn those guys and whenever guys are tired and what they're really going to do and what they're going to go to. And so I thought we did a great job this first little set here in OTAs and in mini camp, but it'll be the ultimate test in training camp of getting on the same page with those guys.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, so that was Patrick Mahomes talking to the media after day 2 of mandatory minicamp. Talked a little bit about the rookies, calling them a very mature group, maybe compared to some other ones, I guess, that he said maybe because they've been in college a little bit longer with NIL. Maybe that's been part of it as well. Also said he expects Travis Kelce, more than anything, to be the leadership aspect, to bring the building every day, big impact to our football team, quote or two from him. Also, the only part I actually thought was interesting, he said he never talked to Travis, he claims, about whether or not he was going to retire or not.
Yeah, also kind of what we talked about earlier. What's the old goal? Just getting to the Super Bowls. Does it still mean something? You have to win it. Here's what he said. Keeps the winning rings in the safe. The other one's on top of it.
Yeah.
They just got their AFC championship rings today. So that was an interesting comment to me.
Up next, we'll talk more about, what does regression look like? We're going to also hear from Travis Kelce, and we're bringing back the snitch line. Start sending those texts in as well. 913-586-7965 right here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold.
You will not decorate my balls, period. I will decorate my balls.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
It's the spring sales event at Rob Sight Ford, and I'm here with the man himself, Rob Sight. Rob, you already stole the spotlight. Now what are you trying to take?
Just your attention, Kevin, and maybe a few trade-ins. Now, we've got up to $14,000 off new Fords with employee pricing, plus our own dealer discount.
$14,000. That's hotter than your Sunday barbecue.
Exactly, and unlike your burgers, these deals won't dry out. We've got hard-to-find inventory, huge trade-in values, and our non-commissioned sales team makes everything so easy.
No pressure, just real help. Even I'll admit it, it's the best place in Kansas City to buy a car, and I don't hand out compliments lightly, or seconds.
That's a fact. And don't forget, we're Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 reviews, and 0 grill marks.
All right, Rob, I'll give it to you, man. You're cooking up some real value over there.
Come see us at 135th and State Line or visit robsight.com. But hurry, these deals are sizzling and inventory's moving fast.
And tell him Rob sent you. No guarantees, but he might throw in a hot dog.
See website for details. BillsHappen.com is not a lender. It does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to BillsHappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
BillsHappen.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to BillsHappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to BillsHappen.com. That's BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com.
Is your old garage door a real clunker? Overhead Door Company of Kansas City is paying cash for your clunkers now. They'll haul away your old garage door and give you instant credit towards a new insulated door. $200 for the first garage door and $100 for each additional door. Cash in your old opener and entry door too. It's cash for clunkers now at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Schedule your free estimate at overheaddoorkc.com or call 816-221-0072.
One of my favorite things to do at Hy-Vee is saving money on gas. And this weekend, I'm in luck. This Saturday, June 21st and Sunday, June 22nd, earn a 30-cent per gallon fuel discount with every $60 grocery purchase at Hy-Vee. And Hy-Vee isn't just saving us money at the pump. They're lowering prices in every department. And on top of that, you can save on fuel as well. So this weekend, stock up for summer and stack up those fuel savings this weekend only at Hy-Vee.
Nothing tastes better than sweet summer corn or a juicy ripe watermelon. Indulge yourself in the fresh taste of summer this Thursday through Sunday at Hy-Vee. We're rolling back prices on your favorite produce like sweet corn, 4 for $1, avocados just 69 cents, seedless grapes 99 cents a pound, candy cantaloupe $1.99, and russet potato 5-pound bags just $1.48. Stock up on all the juicy deals during the mega produce sale this Thursday through Sunday only at Hy-Vee.
Do you think astronauts fight over elbow room? Probably. Because advanced tech doesn't always mean more space. Until now. Introducing the Hyundai Ioniq 9, a 3-row electric SUV with over 300 miles of range, ultra-fast charging capability, and lots of space. The all-new Hyundai Ioniq 9, space in an EV. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
EPA estimated range for Ioniq 9 based on fully charged battery. For comparison purposes only. Actual range will vary based on several factors.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check the GPS directions first, before driving to the mall.
Turn right at the light. In 1,000 miles, you will reach Montreal.
Not Montreal, the mall.
Recalculating. 6,000 miles to Nepal.
No, the mall.
Checking first is smart.
Recalculating.
So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Jefferson's Wings, Burgers, Oysters, located in Lenexa and North Kansas City, proud lunch partner of Cody and Gold.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Drew Nixon, Jay Binkley with you. Don't forget, if you're looking for something to eat for lunch today, I'm thinking about tonight as well, take advantage of Jefferson's Happy Hour, brand new, and they're our lunch partner here on Wednesdays. 7 days a week, you can enjoy half off appetizers, half off your bar tab at Jefferson's Lenexa and Jefferson's North Kansas City. Not to mention Monday, all day Happy Hour, and they got the same great deals during their reverse Happy Hour. 7 days a week, Jefferson's, Lenexa, and North KC, Jefferson's Wings, Burgers, Oysters. We're going to hear from Travis Kelce in just a minute or so. He is also speaking to the media. We will bring that to you. But real quick, before we also get to Snitch Line in about 15, 20 minutes or so, I'll point out, you mentioned what Mahomes had to say on, just the offseason, what he expects from Travis Kelce and all that. Earlier in the show, when we were discussing the Chiefs' offense, not the team and overall regression, but the offense. He was asked a couple times there about, what's acceptable for them. Basically, is their goal, yes, to win a ring, but getting back to their offense from 3 years ago or whatever, is that what they consider to be, is that what the bar is for them? And multiple times he mentioned being a top offense again.
Yeah, you like hearing those things, but that was what a lot was said back in 2024 at training camp, too. It was good. And the one question I thought was valid, too, having the same group. Like not having to get used to Worthy. Like last year, he had to get used to Worthy, get used to Brown. Sure, you have your Camp Pat and stuff like that, but to have the same group of guys you're generally accustomed to playing with. Obviously, you throw in Jalen Royals and all that. Clearly, he knows Juju and all that, but now he knows Xavier, and now he knows Rasheed Rice and Hollywood Brown. So that is a bit of a difference to have your top three receivers you have familiarity with.
Yeah, I don't necessarily expect them to be what's your definition of that? Do the top three? No. Can they be back to a top 8 offense in football? Yeah, I think if everything goes right.
It's been a few years. Last 2 years, they've been 15th.
If everything goes right, Bink, where the offensive line is performing at the level that doesn't have to be a left tackle that's an all-pro, but do you get average or above average left tackle play? Does your guard, whether it's Kingsley or Caliendo, give you above average guard play? And then does Worthy, Rice, and Brown stay healthy? I mean, that's the only way they have a chance to be a top 5, top 7 offense if all those things happen. Rice is only missing a game or two if he gets suspended at all. Worthy makes it through the whole year. Brown maybe only misses a game or two. Travis Kelce in a different role because he's not asked to be the guy, ends up actually in a weird way being more productive in his final year. Like, if all that comes together, like the true utopian way we can look at it, then sure, yeah, they can be a top 5 offense. Otherwise, if some things happen, a guy gets hurt, then I think the best case they can be is an 8th to 10th best offense in football.
Have a solid running game behind him to kind of take pressure off the quarterback situation. Maybe if your line is struggling in certain places instead of others, if your tackle's not quite up to snuff yet, if Jalen Moore or Josh Simmons not quite to the point that they wanted to be, I'd have that running game take the pressure. But they've been 15th in points the last 2 years. Year before that, they were 1st. Then they were 4th the year before that. So they were top 5, offense as far as points per game, except for the last 2 years. That's a significant drop where they've been 15 in 15. So, yeah, getting back to where they were is what I think we're expecting. Can the defense be as good? I think the pass rush will be better this year. They were number 2 in sacks for 2 straight years, and last year they slipped back to 18th. So somewhere in the middle there you would expect. Maybe can they get to 8th or 9th as far as getting to the quarterback? I think they can.
Let's hear from Travis Kelce, what could be his final year. He talked about his offseason and maybe some misleading reports about his weight loss. That's right now with Travis Kelce.
Say you lost about 25 pounds. What type of work?
First of all, I never said that.
No.
Don't believe all you read on the internet, guys. All right. Never told anybody. I'm down some weight. Yeah, from the end of the season last year, but. Each year's different, man. You gotta rebuild it, and this year got some time to really focus on some form running and some things early on in the off season that I just didn't have time for last year, and certainly feeling good, and I think it'll pay off, man.
I know a lot of people talking about this, the last dance or something for you, but we've always talked throughout the season. If you lose the Super Bowl or whatever, it's a failure for you. If you come back and win, people keep asking me, "Are you gonna come back?" I don't want to speak for you, but have you even thought that far ahead? If by chance, you get back to San Francisco next year.
I got 1 year on this contract. I know that, and we'll try and figure out something for next year. The Chiefs organization knows how much I love them. I can't see myself ever playing anywhere else. So we'll deal with that down the road when the time is right. But right now, I'm focused on winning the championship this year.
Travis, what are your expectations for yourself then this year?
Just to be the best, to be the best teammate, be the best leader I can. Last year, I think I failed, especially in that last game, and being a leader and being the one that could step up and make plays. So just setting the bar even higher for myself this year than I have in the past.
Other than winning another championship, what would make this season a success for you?
That's the only way I determine whether it's a success or not, man. It's just kind of how I'm wired now. Earlier on in my career, I would set those goals for myself, and I just think it's just more of a genuine feel and the right mentality. Just go out there and try and make every play for my team, whether it's receiving or blocking or doing whatever I need to do.
What did you try to do over the offseason to mentally get yourself ready for another football season?
Mentally? I mean, just as soon as I made the decision to come back, that decision for me needs to be made back in March or early April. Like you set the tone and you put a regimen together that gets your mindset, get your body. And really from there you can start to tweak your skill set, So it's just everything involved. You have to evolve every single year in all phases of the game. So you already know that started back in March, and so far we're on track.
What you made the decision to come back for another year? How serious were you?
I mean, I love football. I don't think I really thought about it that much. My friends and family and the team and the guys and women in this building. I love coming into work every single day. It wasn't a very tough one for me. I know I'm getting older, but at the same time, I still feel like I got a lot that I can prove in this league. And with that being said, man, it really wasn't that hard of a decision for me.
We're gonna go Sam, Zach, and then Bach.
When you said you failed to be a leader in the Super Bowl, what do you mean by that?
I just didn't make the plays that I thought I should have made. I didn't get open in certain situations. Blocking the right guys, having my attention to detail, motivating my guys to get the the energy and the focus and the confidence that we needed during that game, and I just in that area, I just felt like I failed my guys.
And then you said you had time this year to do some of that workout stuff. Was that all that prompted you to go through this workout?
Well, the biggest thing is just making sure you're out there on the field, being a leader, being the one that's setting the tempo in terms of your work ethic. And I think that is always number one. You got to be able to, walk the walk, as they say, to be able to talk it and preach it to guys. So I think just putting myself in the best situation I can athletically, that's going to pay off down the road in being a leader and being ready for those moments.
What was the process like? You touched on this a minute ago. What was the process like when you thought about not playing, and then it sounds like it was really simple in your mind? It wasn't that complicated of a decision.
Yeah, I really didn't feel like it was my last game. Just felt like I got a lot more to prove, and I have so much more fun coming into the building.
This is related, Travis, but that first podcast you guys did right after the Super Bowl, it really sounded like you were going to be torn, that you were really weighing all those things. Are you able to just clarify a little more about right in those few days?
Well, yeah, I mean, you want to let the emotions die down. That was the biggest thing, is that you don't want to make decisions off of initial emotions. But for the most part, once they died down, I still felt like I had that fire in my chest to be able to keep coming in and building and be better and chase another Super Bowl, man.
We'll go Pete and then Matt.
Pat, Andy, media, they often describe you as a future Hall of Famer. I guess, how do you balance what you've already accomplished with staying hungry and what could be this final year or multiple final years?
It's all I know, man. It's all I know. I get that from the big guy. Coach Reed has set the tone, and he challenges us every single week, every single year to come in and be better than what we were last year. And I kind of just, inherited that over the course of being under Coach Reed throughout my 12 years here. It's just, it's a mentality that I know is going to set us up for success down the road. We might not be the same team that we are in preseason, that we are in, late December, early January, and hopefully February. And with that kind of mindset, no matter what you accomplish, you're always thinking about that next play and that next game and being better than your last.
You continue to have more and more on your plate. I know you were in France on Monday. How do you balance all of that schedule, especially just going forward with everything that you have going forward with football and keeping maybe even separate or better, being ready for it?
Football is always going to be number one. I love this game. It's still my childhood dream. When I really thought about it, I think this offseason I got back to, just wanting to focus more on this game and getting the most out of this game as I possibly can while I'm still putting on the cleats and putting on the pads. So this will always be number one in terms of, my business, world and my career path. And, with that being said, everything else is just kind of, making sure that I'm accountable for the people that I agree to team up with, like the podcast and going over to France.
Did Coach give you any advice just as far as how you balance that time during this offseason and just kind of giving some time for yourself and say, hey?
I mean, Coach has always given me advice at everything in life. I think he's kind of trusted me in a lot of the aspects, knowing that I've handled it a certain way. But he's also challenged me a lot to make sure that I'm still being the guy in the building for him to be able to lean on in terms of that leadership. So
We're gonna go last couple, starting with Blair.
Travis, we saw the ring boxes set up outside. What will the ring this year symbolize for you?
Everybody has their own view on it. Unfortunately for me, I'm only interested in Super Bowl rings. I know what the AFC Championship means to this organization and the family, and the 15 wins and everything is something special that I let everybody else be happy with. Last year wasn't a success for me, and I'm motivated to make sure that we get that other ring this year.
We're going to go last two, Sam.
Sure, just one more follow-up on your off-season work. Do you already notice the effects of the work that you've put in?
Yeah, and I'm still putting it in. It's going to be a grind. It's going to, that's where I'm talking about you got to make that decision early in the off-season for a guy like me, because that grind starts now and hopefully it ends in February. And you just keep that consistent work ethic throughout it all, and hopefully throughout the rest of this off-season, going into the actual season, and then towards the playoffs. If we're lucky enough to make the playoffs and make another run at it, you'll keep seeing me get better and better as I plan to.
Last one.
You enjoy still coming in and the young guys as you get to be kind of you've been the vet, but to be the older vet in the room now and working with the younger guys. How do you relate to them, and how do you, I guess, put into them what it means to be a chief and the level of success you guys have?
Yeah, I mean, they've seen the logo before they got in the building. You know, they understand what type of history and what type of prestige is here, and just, you know, the culture of winning football games. So when you get into this building, you know it's serious. You know we're coming to work, and you know, I think it's not just myself being the oldest guy in the room. It's guys like Chris Jones and obviously Pat Mahomes, Drew Tranquil. You know, Bert. Everybody's really, you know, putting their spin on it. But I think when you get young guys in the building, you get them around this culture, they understand real quick what exactly it takes to be a champion. And you know, with that being said, I love helping everybody out. You know, it's only going to make us better as a team if everybody has that one goal in mind. And sometimes you just need that reassurance when you're that young that you're doing the right things, and you got to keep moving forward. So
that was Travis Kelce post-mandatory minicamp practice today. A lot there from him. I thought it was pretty evident, Bing. I'm sure you picked up on it as well, in terms of how he's approached this offseason, that he mentioned a few times that, you know, football is number one. You know, I needed to do this to be ready. I'm not saying that last offseason, you know, he didn't work out, but I think it's very clear he knew that he needed to do more this offseason to have the year that he hopes to have. And you should love hearing that as a Chiefs fan. But, you know, he's got his business opportunities, but it sounds like maybe after this past season, he kind of thought about, hey, all right, I got all this other stuff I want to do, but while football can still be my number one, I want to give it my number one attention. That's kind of what I heard there.
Yeah, I agree, and it seems like that. That's why I thought they kind of stepped back a little bit. I know that Mahomes been in a few commercials with Adidas or whatever, but it's kind of stepping back from the limelight, especially Kelce. I know it's hard to when they're out and about getting pictures taken of them, but it seems like a different focus this year. And I liked what he said, you know, about success to me is a Super Bowl championship, because that's the exact same thing he said after they'd won one. Then they lost that one in Tampa Bay. That's what he said after the game. No, the only success to me is to win the Super Bowl, because some people may just be happy getting there. Clearly, he's at that point now where it's about winning it all. Nothing else matters. It's that same mentality I heard after that Tampa Super Bowl that he's carrying today. Exact same thing he basically said back then, which I think is a very good sign.
Yeah, doesn't care about the AFC title rings or anything like that. It's all about the Super Bowl. He was asked a few times, what are your goals for the season? And
like Josh Allen didn't even have one of those.
He was he was very clear, you know, that it's all about the Super Bowl. But I thought throughout that multiple times, without just flat out saying, hey, I didn't focus on football enough last offseason, he kind of basically
made sure it was number one.
He kind of did. I mean, like those business opportunities are still there. He's going to have a very, very bright future post-playing career, clearly. The podcast is a wild success. He's going to do that. But he said, football's my number one. I'm going to handle the stuff that I basically – I'm paraphrasing here. I promised some people I'm going to do some stuff. I'm going to be accountable for that stuff I agreed to, but football is my focus, and I think that is a great sign heading into the season.
You like hearing stuff like that. Like that's his priority. It's why he came in the league. That's where he rose to stardom, was football, the game of football, and he appreciates that at this point. You know, he's got a ton of other stuff going on, but just to kind of compartmentalize and say, no, I'm here for football reasons only. That was refreshing to hear, because it does seem like he's been refocused and dedicated. And yes, how dedicated is he? Well, in France one day, flies overnight and ends up at mandatory minicamp yesterday. That showed some level of commitment to this team. And he does like the sport, but I've noticed him kind of stepping back, and really the only time you've seen him is those after the workouts or whatever. You know, he's trying to do it. He says he hasn't lost quite 25 pounds.
He definitely lost weight. You could tell.
He's definitely lost weight.
He did. And he said he did. Yeah, I mean, and I just think at this point, you probably got to put in more work in the offseason when you're as old as he is now. Yeah, you could get by with maybe a different offseason if you were 27.
What stands out to me the most, though, is that mindset change. It's not about just getting there. It's about winning the whole thing. That's what winners say. You know, I truly got to the Super Bowl. It's great. No, if you don't win it, it doesn't mean as much to them. And I like hearing that. Or Mahomes putting the AFC title rings on top of the safe, the ones they won in the safe. I mean, that just shows you kind of how they value that game. Just like, you know, Patrick talking about, watching the Super Bowl as much, maybe on some of the things you did wrong to learn. But this team is clearly pissed. You can hear it. You know, we talked about Lamar Jackson, the whole vengeance thing that he wants to do against Buffalo this year and everything. This team's not satisfied. They understand their window. They understand, you know, it's not forever to have Andy Reid around, Patrick Mahomes. And they understand Chris Jones. They're not getting any younger, these players. But and I know Mahomes probably get another 10 more years or so. But they have the whole crew together. You know, Spags and Andy and Chris Jones and this whole crew. they understand the time and place that they're in and what's success and what isn't.
He also, at least would take him at his word for it, he said that he really didn't consider retiring that strongly. You know?
Didn't sound like it. He said it a little bit, though. He said it at the podcast because it was brought up about his podcast.
And he was saying that was the emotion.
There was some of that when they were talking about it, whether they come back or not. But, clearly his brother probably, pushed him to still play. Like, do you have the desire to still play? They go do it. Because you have to be 100% committed to play the sport. Remember Howie Long? He said, I'll know when to retire. Back when he's playing, I'll know when to retire when the fire that beat people up is not there anymore. You know what I'm saying? When that fire is not there, you just know it's not there. You don't force yourself to go do something. You have to have that fire to want to do something, and he still has that, and that's good to hear.
Yeah, and then it's way too early to have this conversation. The way he spoke there, it doesn't even sound like we've all assumed this is the last year.
I said 1 year on the contract.
I don't want to start that game again, but the way he was speaking, at least, it doesn't sound like this is for sure the last year. I think it is, but if they win a Super Bowl and he rides off in the sunset kind of thing, but. He didn't sound like somebody that is full blown. Oh yeah, no, this is going to be it, guys. This is going to be it.
He didn't do the whole last dance thing. Maybe he didn't want things made about him and his last game and all that. Maybe that's the way he's playing this. Because some guys do that. Well, I don't know how much longer I'll play. They know damn well it's their last year playing, but go out. But you would hate to see it be a situation where he goes and finishes with another team for a year because we've seen plenty of that. Remember seeing Jerry Rice in a Broncos uniform?
I don't think he's doing that.
I don't think so either, but it does remain a possibility.
He's either retiring or he's, what I'm saying? Like he's either retiring or he's playing in the following year as a Chief, one way or the other, contract-wise.
Had they beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl, would he have played this year?
I don't
tried
think
to get 4?
You don't think so? I don't think so. Okay. I say that, and it's tough because he's, just got done saying, how much he still loves football and has the fire in his chest and all this kind of stuff. So I don't. Maybe so. I just this year, if they win a Super Bowl, I will be absolutely floored. If he comes back after winning a ring this season.
That would be hard, having 4.
Don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah, because there's no streak going again. You have to start a new one. It's not
Yeah, but he didn't care about the
straight
streaks. He already said that.
Or 3 straight to 4. I just think
he didn't care about the receiving yard thing. I don't think he cares about the catches stuff that we talked about.
I think he clearly
I think it's more evident.
He could have 500 yards and they win a ring. I don't think he can. For the season they win a ring, and I think he's happy.
I think it's
he's got
more
that one streak going. I told you about 90+ catches.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think he would be completely happy with 55 catches and 475 yards if they win a Super Bowl.
True.
I actually believe that.
He wants to groom Noah and all that. That's why he does tight end university and all that. So. He wants to see other guys' success, I'm sure.
So that was Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce speaking here on 96.5 The Fan. They've got one more day of mandatory minicamp. Sometimes the one tomorrow ends up being a short practice anyway, and they let him go on vacation. They let him all go on vacation.
Talk today
means he's out. He's getting out of town, man.
Going to those water parks.
Yeah, I mean, this is like if you talk to any assistant coach in the league and stuff, after tomorrow, they have like that 2.5-3 week stretch, man, and then that's their time off, and then after that, it's full go from mid-July till mid-February, basically.
Mahomes going to a water park. I feel like that's something that the whole team's got to rent out, and all the players with the kids go.
He just can't go stand in line like everybody else, right?
I don't think Pat can just do that. I wouldn't think so, at least.
But that is true. That question about the offseason seems shorter and shorter when they were asking Patrick. Well, that's what happens when you go to the Super Bowl every year. You go to that final game, because then all of a sudden, guess what? The combine comes up, the draft, and you're in OTAs. But whenever you go to the brink, and you're not these teams that sit on their couch during the playoffs, you actually go and play to the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's a shorter offseason.
Up next, let's get to what's trending, and then we ran a little late there with Kelce and Mahomes, but I want to get to Snitch Line. We haven't done this in a couple weeks. If you're new to the show, Snitch Line, anything you got to get off your chest on the text line. Something that you did, something you witnessed a coworker do, a family member do. Bink's got something to snitch on. 913-586-7965. I think you told me you do earlier. That's coming up next.
Watch Cody and Gold on YouTube by subscribing to the 96.5 YouTube channel. Cody and Gold is brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, for a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter. Or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. We can reawaken any space to make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
GiveMeTheVin.com is already the best place to sell your car. And now it's even better with the GiveMeTheVin.com Big Cash Giveaway. Give Me the Vin is giving away $25,000 in cash every month. Sell us your car to increase your odds of winning big cash. No purchase necessary. For official rules, go to GiveMeTheVin.com.
0% financing is back at Reiselman Nissan. That's right, 0% APR for 60 months on brand new Rogues and Pathfinders. Or choose 1.9% for 72 months. Even 84 months at just 3.49% APR. Looking for power? Get up to $6,000 in total rebates on new Frontiers. And don't miss 1.9% APR for 60 months on the bold and stylish Murano. These are some of the lowest rates we've seen all year, and inventory's moving fast. Visit Reiselman.com for full details. Reiselman Nissan. Every customer, every time.
Honey, in case you can't tell from the recliner, summer is here, and our house desperately needs the experts at Powell Exteriors KC for siding, windows, entry doors, beautiful decks, patio covers, roofs, and more. Get ready for the heat at PowellKC.com.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit RexBuysKC.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
Men, the summer is here. Longer days, warmer nights, and romance in the air. Intimate dinners, walks on the beach, dancing in the moonlight. But if you have erectile dysfunction, you know it can ruin romance, both for you and the one you love. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you have ED, don't let another summer go by without getting treated. Because intimacy is one of the greatest things in life, and fear of not being able to perform should not be something you have to deal with. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated tens of thousands of men. Our protocols work when others don't, and we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. You could even last up to an hour or more and perform like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
When you buy a new house, you might say,
Shut the front door.
winning.
No, seriously. Shut the front door. We own this house now.
But you actually need to say,
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
that's right. The local State Farm agent is there to help you choose the coverage you need.
Welcome to my crib. No one says that anymore, but I don't care.
So just remember, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Some people
people just know they can save hundreds on home and auto insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check your house sitter has the new code first before leaving for vacation.
System lockout.
But that's the code!
Contacting authorities.
I'm out of here.
Oh, seriously, the car too?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a home and auto bundle that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Potential savings vary. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling Grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2025 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 7/2025. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
Royals coverage sponsored by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
Where can you find an extensive line of Blue Demon welding supplies, filler, rods, and wire? Metal by the Foot, located in Casey and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. What's trending?
What's Trending is presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. The Royals back in action again tonight. Game 2 of their series against the Rangers. Obviously, they took Game 1. You saw your leaders step up in Salvador Perez and Bobby Wood Jr. Seth Lugo was awesome. Game 2 tonight, 7:05 first pitch. Chris Bubich gets the nod. He'll go up against Patrick Corbin for the Rangers. Vern's on Deck show, 6 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan, as the Royals try to go ahead and win a series just in Game 2 of this thing.
What'd you want on the road, 4-2?
Well, I said if you can cut it in half, go forward to cut your 4 games to 2 games under 500.
They win last night, took care of that really quick. Bobby Wood Jr. gets that double, then scores right there. It's nice having Bubich tonight, and then you've got tomorrow, you've got Michael Wacha. That is a perfect combination for the Royals to get on a roll against the Texas Rangers. NBA still going on as far as the finals, but the NHL's done. Florida Panthers going back-to-back to the Chiefs on ice. They've done the 3 straight Stanley Cups. State of Florida now won 4 of the last 6 Stanley Cups. Canada, a team based in Canada, still not won a Stanley Cup in 31 years. Older than Drew.
That's true. That is very true.
It's a true statement.
That is. Next up on What's Trending, the Tampa Bay Rays are in advanced talks, according to Sportico, to sell the club to a group led by a Jacksonville home builder, Patrick Zalupski. Partners in that deal have signed a letter of intent, and the price is roughly $1.7 billion. That's according to Sportico. So
it's like Vern said,
likely moving out of Tampa.
Think about what the Royals are thinking if they see $1.7 billion.
Yeah, if the Rays are worth $1.7 billion. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really good investments. What he said. Here comes the bidding. I mean, I'm sure Nashville's on line 1, Salt Lake City's on line 2, Charlotte's on line 3. Because unlike the Royals, who are going to get a new stadium, not leaving the area, right, this one actually could.
Yeah, you don't buy the Rays unless you know you've got to go build a new stadium somewhere.
Yeah, this could actually be something worthy of making a phone call. College football, something Drew and I love. He's got his podcast. They just put out a new issue, didn't you? New episode? Or that next week?
It's coming out later on today.
249 show. Later on today. But the conference commissioners have decided to start over on determining the 2026 college football playoff format. Sources said the Big Ten and SEC initially wanted 4 automatic qualifiers, with 2 each to the ACC and Big 12. However, the ACC and Big 12 pushed back. SEC coaches later publicly did not support 4 automatic qualifier model, instead preferring 5 automatic qualifiers plus a plus 11 at-large format for a 16-team playoff is for the ACC and the Big 12. Hey, it's going to 16 teams. I know it might take a little while, but eventually. You know what, though? Here's the thing. That's where they're going to go. That's what they need to do. At least they're going to reseed them. At least that's going to happen.
More SEC teams are going to be in if they go to that 5-11 model. We'll talk more about that big tomorrow, and then that also is going to be on the podcast if you want to check it out later, too.
Yeah, you guys, Friday, actually. Tomorrow,
I'm sorry.
Company.
We can call each other.
Look, I'm going to show up tomorrow and be like, what the heck's going on here at
tomorrow
this rate?
is
come in and talk about it.
Tomorrow is a company holiday. They told me not to show up, so we will not be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bink and you on Friday. I'll be back Monday.
With me.
What alcohol do you want on Friday, Bink?
All of it.
Because we were going to do the Hard Mountain Dews. We were going to do the Hard Mountain Dews, but that didn't happen last week because Cody couldn't find them.
We have plenty of beer back there, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot. The whole fridge is full.
Yeah,
you guys will be good.
Full. We're good.
Yeah, you'll talk more college on Friday, and that will not be a problem. That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Jay Binkley's filled in for Cody. Alex Gold, Drew Nixon with you. You guys can hit us up on the Jay Southland Tow Service text line 913-586-7965, which transitions into the snitch line. We haven't had this in a little bit.
No.
913-586-7965. One more time. There's a number. If you have something you've witnessed, something you've done, something you need to get off your chest, but you want to keep it somewhat anonymous, just text us. Let us know. We got a couple. Bink will have one for you as well. This one says, should I snitch on myself from the 785? I don't know. I'll see if I'll come up with one that I can think of. Someone says, should I snitch on myself? Yes. They said to the company they have worked at for more than 13 years that they have an interview coming up with another company. Well, definitely don't tell them. But yeah, so you work for a company, you got another interview. Good for you. Good for you. Hopefully you get it. Do you want to leave? You've been there for 13 years. Why are you leaving? Is it for more money? You're not happy there? Why are you leaving?
And have you ever yelled at a player for leaving a team in certain similar situations?
Someone else said from the 913, snitch line, coworker who makes awesome desserts. They're not a dad, but their dad doesn't eat sweets. She asked the team if any of our dads wanted treats. I put in an order for me on Father's Day. Dad laughed, thought it was funny. So you ordered treats that were for Father's Day, but you just ate them yourself.
It's pretty smart.
Yeah.
Pretty smart.
I think that's smooth. Mm-hmm. Snitch line, 913. Currently looking at Drew's wedding ring. Funny thing is, it's not on his nightstand.
Wow.
It's on my nightstand. Thanks for last night, Drew.
Wow. Wow. Snitch line. You got something to say, Drew? Is this real?
No.
Everything we see on the internet's real, right?
Oh,
just ask Travis Kelce. You know,
just
ask Travis Kelce. Travis just answered the.
They said the wedding ring's not on his nightstand or his wife's nightstand. It's on this texter's nightstand.
What color is it? We'll get this thing straightened up real quick.
You already told us what color it is, though.
We'll see if this person remembers.
913-586-7965, snitch line.
Here's one for the 816. Okay. I like this one.
Okay.
Says, I shotgunned a beer or two before my first shift at work. Nice work.
What do you do for work? I'm curious. What do you do? Text back. What do you do for work?
I was reading something somewhere where some lady said that every morning her husband would drink an energy drink. And he started taking White Claws with him and putting them down before work thinking they were energy drinks.
Oh, my goodness. That's funny.
Yeah. Wait, how?
The person thought they were energy drinks. They didn't know there was alcohol.
No. Sometimes it's tough to tell with those things, man.
I mean, you can taste it a little bit.
Yeah, come on now.
Elsewhere, someone says their wife doesn't always wear her wedding ring to work. She works at the VA. Should I be concerned, Drew?
Drew?
Look, I would say no. But I don't think it's a bad thing to ask, I guess, if this is something you've noticed over time, but haven't said anything.
I think women usually find wedding rings more attractive. So if you have it on, Drew, I think that women might try harder for you, you know?
I don't need... I'm very happy with my wife in the current situation. So I'm good.
Someone in Snitch Line, 913-586-7965. Played golf with a buddy, broke a backdoor window on a home next to the course, left a bogus phone number.
Jeez.
So why did you even...
don't
honest
leave
question,
the phone number. Just go on
if you were going to leave a phone number, why? If it was a bogus phone number, why would you even have taken the time to go up to the house and leave a number? I guess that's what I'm confused.
I think that makes it way worse.
Yeah.
Just go about your business.
If that's the case, why leave a bogus phone number?
I remember back in the day, the prank was you put a little sign on the court. It's back when people actually had like fires, the real firewood. You said for free firewood, call, and then you put the phone number of someone you wanted to, like, give your phone number, Drew's.
The guy that said he shotgunned beers before his shift said he waits tables. It's all good. And then there were a bunch of people texting in trying to act like they were the guy that was shotgunning the beers and saying that they were other jobs, but we got the original number.
I mean, if they're a beer tester, that's perfect.
Another one says, snitch line, I have a burner account to specifically reply to Chiefs hate. So you made an account, you just go after like other fans?
Take you all day.
You have a burner. Bink, do you have a burner account?
No burners.
Don't have time for that. 913-586-7965. Someone has said, is Drew in the pineapple lifestyle?
What is that?
The heck does that mean? I have no idea.
You don't know?
What is it?
Are you a swinger? That's what they're asking. That's what they're asking.
You mean like white lava rocks?
Yeah, pineapple out front of Drew's apartment.
Oh, no.
You're not a swinger, Drew?
Ooh, here we go. We got a good one right here.
No.
We go. Here we go. We got a good one, Drew. From the 785, Snitch Line. They said they're having an affair with someone from an agency we work closely with.
Wow.
Shame on you, man.
Stuff happens, Drew. I've been telling you, man. This is what happens in marriage. This stuff here from the text line.
It's not happening in mine. I feel I'm very happy. If you feel the need to do this, I'm sorry. Dang.
It's reality, though, Drew.
For other people, I'm sure that it is.
I love this one. Snitch line. I do nothing for work, like 6 or 8 hours when I'm at work.
You just sit there?
What do you do for a living? Yeah.
I think that's a valid question.
Someone else says, I snitched on my coworker because he doesn't follow OSHA rules. I snitched on him because he's an obnoxious Eagles fan. Go Chiefs.
There you go.
913-586-7965.
You gonna put the odds on Drew wearing the ring Friday?
Oh, he's definitely wearing it on Friday. You know what? He's putting that thing on immediately when he gets home today. Immediately. He's going to the nightstand if he hasn't lost it, and it's right there.
He might have taken it off when he plays video games.
What would you do if your wife... Actually, it would be really... What if your wife took the ring and she just wanted to see how long it would take you to notice? That would be a good test.
Normally, I know, again, as I said, typically, if I get it, when I go to shower, that's the time that I don't wear it.
Really?
Normally, I notice
You don't
it.
wear your watch and stuff like that in the shower?
No.
I actually take my Apple Watch off before I go in the shower. I know I can wear the Apple Watch, but I'll take the Apple Watch off before I shower. I don't know why, but I do.
When I was married, I didn't wear my ring in the shower.
You did?
I did.
Okay.
I didn't take it off like you do. I have before.
And look where we are.
I did lose it once.
Someone from the 402. I don't know where that's at.
Let's see.
Look
here.
up the 402 area code. Someone says, had an employee quit with no notice before a busy weekend, so I made an anonymous tip to the police because he likes to smoke weed and drive. Oh, dang.
Oh, wow.
Wow, so you...
Omaha or Lincoln.
Okay.
That area.
Okay, shout out College World Series. Wow, so wow. An employee quit on you last minute, so you were upset. So then you put in a tip to the police. Do you think they really even did anything with that, though? Let's be real. With that because he smokes weed? I don't think they did anything with that.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. Someone says that other guy said, Drew, that ring is on his nightstand, so good luck finding it.
Damn, Drew.
913, Drew, hey, honey, if you want to pick your ring up before you go home today, I have to be at work at 4.
Anybody that calls me honey, it's not happening. My wife doesn't call me honey.
What'd she call you, baby?
Yeah.
Babe?
Does she?
Yeah.
She call you, hey, baby?
Honey is a no.
You know what?
It's cringe-worthy, I think, actually, as well.
We used to have...
No. that ain't it, Chief.
I used to do Saturday and Sunday shows during training camp, and there'd always be texts that would come in from the night before. Just people accidentally, forgetting they texted the station.
Ooh, here's a good snitch.
And then they would text and say, hey, baby, why don't you come over? My wife's gone. This is like a real text. It wasn't a snitch line. It was just like people that texted a radio station think they were texting somebody else.
Someone else said, let's see here. 816, I go through my wife's phone in the morning while she's sleeping. I'm not sure why.
Then stop doing it.
If you change that password.
If there's a reason behind it, then, hey. But.
Do you look at your wife's phone, Drew, and vice versa?
No.
She never looks at yours?
No.
I'd start looking at it now, though.
No, they have trust. They trust each other.
Yeah, as you should in a relationship.
913-586-7965. Someone says, is the snitch line back? That employer earlier about the weed, that employer is a effing bleep. Someone else says, you can tell the guy who called the cops on his employee, that's a bleep move. He basically fired your bleep, crybaby.
Wow. From the 816, was Drew's wife the person who claimed the moon isn't real? Yes, she has since changed that stance. The moon is real. However, the moon landing, different story.
Oh, man.
According to her. Which I think a lot of people fall into that category of belief as well.
You serious?
Someone says, don't listen to Bink. Way to stand up for marriage, Drew.
Yeah.
Don't listen to Bink. I agree. My wife and I are very happily
Shout
married.
out to you. Congratulations.
Hold the energy. Hold that energy.
They are holding the energy.
We can revisit this later.
Bink, I don't know how many people. I don't think they would willingly admit it publicly. But I think there's more people that believe that the moon landing was fake than you actually realize. I think there are a lot of people. I mean, Tyler Hero does.
You actually think... You don't think it was real?
There's a whole movie, as a matter of fact, about that conspiracy theory. I didn't say
My favorite thing about the text line is some of you will text in thinking we'll literally just read anything you text in.
Yeah,
That's
some of it's off.
like-
Wait, hang on a second.
What? Yeah, go ahead.
Are you talking about
Which one, Drew?
I mean, which ones? I guess plural in this case.
Well,
There's a
you
lot
think
of them
Santa
today.
Claus is real, Drew?
I used to.
Until last year?
No, not until last year.
Someone says a lot of marriages in jeopardy on this show. Only one person's married on this show.
Mine is still very. It's very successful.
Yeah, there's definitely some
successful.
Definitely some fake texts coming in now. 913-586.
Fake. So, but based on what you said, Bink, Gold should wear a wedding ring wherever he goes, and as a result, he will look more attractive.
I don't think Gold needs it. Just put it that way.
All right.
I'm not so sure Gold needs it. Gold seems to be just fine.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying, Gold?
I do. Thank you.
He let me swipe for him one day. I was on
I'm not on any of the apps.
I know, but
right this second.
you let me have it one time, and I get to swipe for ladies for you.
A couple years ago.
It didn't work out, did it?
I never went on a date with anybody that you matched with while you were on my phone.
Shocker.
Yeah.
I had some good ones. Well, she's got a little bit of Alex Gold in her, you know.
Oh, boy. That's the snitch line. It's been a while since we had it.
Look at this. Number one cause of divorce is marriage.
Okay. The best advice is from this 816 texter. Last thing, all caps, anyone should do is take relationship advice from Jay Binkley.
You know what food stops sex? Wedding cake.
Jeez.
Did you drop that one on Rob, too? I'm sure you're going to drop that one on Kramer tomorrow.
No, I
as
use the
well,
three-ring circus on those guys.
Friday,
Wedding ring, engagement ring, separating ring.
You need to stop being so pessimistic with myself.
Why?
Because I'm good. You can be more pessimistic to people who haven't quite jumped in that,
But you act
pool
too
yet.
confident, though, Drew. What you're saying now leads me to believe trouble in paradise.
Bink, if I said before I got married, I don't know if this is going to work out, but I want to do it, then if you're questioning that, I don't know if you actually should in the first place.
What would I have said?
What do you mean?
Would I said yes or no? Do it. Would I say do it or don't do it? If you're questioning it, whether you should do it or not.
Yeah, then don't. If you're questioning it, then it's probably not the best idea.
End up as a stat and a legal fee. It's Malibu.
What did you do with your wedding bands?
Jeez.
One of them's in a creek.
You threw it in the creek?
And then I had a party, a celebration afterwards. I think we all went down to the creek to throw
You
it.
threw your wedding ring into the creek.
Yeah, it was a nice ring, too, but I threw it in the creek. Had a little get-together, a little barbecue and some kegs and stuff. And
yeah.
Called it a blank is gone party.
Uh-huh. What about the other one?
It was less ceremonial.
And the third one?
There's not a third one.
And the fourth one?
There's not any of that. There's not. I'm happy.
I'm good. I'm glad you're happy. You told us that yesterday. You're in a happy relationship right now.
Very happy.
And you'll get married next year.
No, I don't think that'll happen.
Someone says
Drew
just a walking HR
Drew
nightmare.
told me I shouldn't.
I didn't say that.
Drew said you're going to end up divorced again, Jay. I said, all right, Drew.
Drew's been very supportive of you. I mean, Friday when it's just you two. Is Drew going to make it through the show on Friday when it's just...
The text line is asking these questions, I feel like.
Well, last
Or will be
year, like I
asking.
said, last year you chugged a beer for the first time. You shot a
What do you
Roman
got
candle.
planned on Friday?
You shot a Roman candle out of your butt.
Both lies.
That was both true.
Actually, one of them was true.
No, I did not chug a
You
beer.
guys can you guys can decide which one's true, but one of them's true.
I took a sip. I did not chug a beer.
And you did light a Roman candle.
I lit a Roman candle and I fired it out of my hand.
And Friday you're getting chew.
That's where we draw the line.
Alex walked in there and said, hey, give me a can.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, you mean I'm buying you some chew is what you're saying.
I'm buying.
I'm not trying it.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Just a pinch.
Drew will not show up on Friday when it's just you if you ask him to do that.
I'm gonna make spec produce for you. I'll have spec do it. You know, I was
Text line says they're gonna just hold it down on Friday. They'll just take care of it.
Thank you.
Oh, the armchair Karens?
Don't start that again.
Yo.
Don't start that again.
Everybody gets mad.
Don't start that again.
Oh, they
Text
get
line
mad.
was not happy with you.
You did not just call the whole text line that.
No.
Text line was very upset with you earlier. Very upset, you know?
Text line gets mad. We have a love-hate relationship.
That's normal.
Yeah. They love some stuff. They hate some other stuff. You know? Perfect balance. It's a great balance. I'll bring some more fireworks.
That's a hell of a text. I'm going to leave that one alone.
I mean,
I'm going to leave that one alone, but I'm fascinated by it.
The snitch line music's not playing anymore,
I know.
so we're not going to play that. We're not going to say that one. But
You guys want to snitch on yourselves at all?
I don't actually have anything right now to snitch about, but do you have anything? And snitch line's over, as Drew said, though. You should have done this
All
like
right.
5 minutes
Good
ago.
point.
Where was that? Where was that 5
I'll just
minutes
save
ago,
it.
Bink?
I'll just save it.
Where was it 5 minutes ago?
Oh, no, hang on.
I'll save it. I'll save
there
it.
you go. Go ahead.
No, I'm not going to do it. I'll save it.
Or
go right ahead.
That's called a tease in the business.
Would you rather reveal it or have? Never mind. Never
What?
mind.
This other
Drew,
text?
snitch
No,
on me.
I was going to say.
Snitch on me.
Is that one back in play?
Snitch on me, Drew.
I'm not reading it.
Snitch on the fact that I was
People
on
want
an
you.
airplane.
People want you to say it.
I was on an
Snitch.
airplane back from Vegas.
Uh-huh.
Looked down at the crotch of my knockers, and there was a bunch of lipstick because I happened to go to a establishment. And I was like, oh, crap, because my fiance at the time was going to be picking me up at the airport. And I'm like, what the hell am I going to do?
Goodness.
Still wearing the gym shorts, still wearing your polo. Life is good. Simple as that.
Oh, my goodness.
Here's the thing, though. It means don't go to a strip bar before the airport.
So you went right before the
Right
airport?
before.
You
Bad
couldn't,
idea.
like, you were that desperate to go to the strip
Evidently
club.
so.
But just killing time, you know.
There's other places where you can kill time.
In Vegas, yeah, a ton of places. But
So you went there right before.
it's also a lot of stuff.
Then you
do in
walked
Vegas.
through the entire airport and
I
you
guess
didn't
so.
notice
I
that
guess
you
so.
had lipstick.
Until I got on the plane and looked down, I was like, oh, crap.
There was nobody that you can remember. There was nobody looking at you like you're
Had
crazy.
to,
Like,
had to have
excuse
been
me.
people. The TSA was probably like, what
Yeah,
is
you went
Well,
through
they didn't say
TSA.
this before 9/11 and all that. They didn't care if I
They
had
didn't ask
lipstick
any
on my crotch.
No, they didn't ask any questions. They
didn't.
saw it and were like, you know what? We're not
We're
gonna.
in Vegas.